Um, just like yesterday, we're gonna wait a few for people to get in, and then we will get down to business. It's gonna be the Av3k review. Today I will get through that for sure, and then depending on how I'm feeling, I'll see if I do the Venger match next after that. I likely won't be able to do all three of them today, so I'll have to like break down the finals tomorrow or something like that. Um, so yeah, let's bring that back. Let's make sure that we can see it. Yes, we can. Get that full screen mode going. Thanks, RDM. Thank you. Roof, massive mic. Not even in here for a minute, and this man is already making the jokes. Hello, Robo. Yep, no problem. You have a nice day. You said it's been returned? Hmm. Okay, well, you can private message me later. I didn't click anything, but maybe there's some weird thing going on with PayPal or some shit, so um I'll try to get it figured out later. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Yeah, no, just you can just message me here on Twitch, like just a DM or whatever, and I'll try to I'll see what's up, Mr. Nero, because I remember you donating yesterday. Yo, Spooky, thanks, man. And yeah, I won't be doing reviews too often. Um, I've actually really been enjoying what Venger and ZSX have been doing. Like they've been doing uh, reviews together, and then every now and then one of the other players are like bringing on. I really like what they've been doing. Fred, yeah, Mercury. The only match where Cypher played a bit subpar was the Corrupted Keep. Otherwise, he was playing really well on Molten and on Deep Embrace, but I was playing about as close to perfection as possible during that grand final. So it's more of like I was just really on my game. And thankfully, that's just as the tournament goes on, I get better and better, and I think it's more so because like when you're playing in the heat of the moment and you're being put into the fire, so to speak, because everything's on the line, you really it really exposes what your current shape is, and it exposes your mistakes. And so I seem to do a very good job of finding those mistakes between matches and shoring up my game. Like, what am I doing wrong on the given day, and what do I need to do to fix it, type thing. And so each match that I get, I typically get stronger and stronger because I'm making those self improvements. I mean, Cypher was probably tired, but he already talked to me and said, you know, that that wasn't the case for himself. Like he was totally fine. So I mean, we all knew, like depending on our time zone, like kind of what our schedule is going to be going into the tournament. So I mean, that's like it was really late for him, but he might have slept in, because the tournament starts later at his time. So he got to, get a good night's rest. And as long as, every now and then players are going to have tournament jitters. I've had that before where like I get a really shitty night's sleep just because you're so anxious. Um, but it starts later in the day for him. So he's got like all the time in the world to get a nice breakfast, make sure he, if he wants to, he can go for a run. If that's his thing, he can make sure he gets his coffee, he can do whatever. He can review, warm up in the morning, but then he has to, play later in the evening. Whereas for like my situation, like for this match, for example, I had to wake up at 6:45 a.m. Central Time just to make sure that I was showered, that I had breakfast, that I had enough time to even warm up one game, just one game, so I could play in time. Because I had to be ready in case, what was it? Was Razy Venger? I think Razy Venger was right before. And I have to be ready in case one of them 3-0s the other, you know? Like you can hope that the match goes the distance, but there's no guarantee with that. So you have like a kind of time frame on like when you need to be ready. So it just depends. So like I have to wake up super early and then go through the day, and then it's depending on sleep with how it ends up being like during the finals as well. So it's just different for everybody. That's like if right now if Sygib, if he was still in Cali for let's say the next tournament, if he had to wake up at the same time as me for that match, he'd be waking up at 3 to 4 a.m. just to get ready for the game, and then have to stay up for as long as he'd have to stay up type deal. So, but we know, like I said, we know that heading into the tournament, because we get to see the schedule, at least like get to know like at least when the first starting games are likely going to be, and then the estimated, if things go as according to plan, like about when it should end, and so then we can, kind of start adjusting our schedules, our sleep schedules ahead of time. So. Whatever that alert is, I'll get to it in a bit because I'm about to start. So, but I appreciate whatever that was. Oh, Bucks, I can see it on the phone. Buckster, thanks to host, man. I appreciate it. Okay, so we can get into the game now. So, how this matchup worked, based off of the rulings and the delta for the ping of the servers, Av3k has the home server because the delta is smaller, which means that it's potentially more even. So we will play on EU for maps 1, 3, and 5. So like I said, like I said yesterday, every now and then the production kind of like forgot to change the servers at the bottom left. So that's why like going into these, I'll just let you know what they were. So first map up on Corrupted Keep is EU, Molten was NA, Veil was EU, and Awoken was NA. And then the last one would have been EU if we had to go to map 5. So because he had more servers that allowed me to choose whether I wanted to pick or ban first or defer it, I decided to ban first. And like I explained yesterday, I had been having problems since the last patch on Ruins. So, and he's actually very good on that map anyway. So I just wanted to get rid of it. It's a pretty good comfort pick for him. And then with the way that like Rail has been acting on that, it seemed like a coin toss. So I just wanted to get rid of it and play to our strengths and our weaknesses on other maps. And then, no surprise, Av3k has been one over the years where he doesn't necessarily practice the new maps as much as he should. I don't know if he really even played Tower of Koth the stage before or not. But so he's typically a little bit behind on practicing for new maps, and he tries to just focus on the maps that he knows and to get really strong on them. So he banned Exile. That doesn't surprise me. And also, he might just look at it like how I look at Ruins, whereas Exile right now, like just the possibility of falling into the pits more often can create a little more randomness. So, that could have been his thought. Like, he doesn't want to have full control, and then he gets caught out in a trap and knocked into the pit, and everything is gone. Which is, that's just something you have to deal with on that map, and it's up to you whether you want to or not. So I went and picked Corrupted Keep. He picked Molten. I picked Veil. Then he picked Awoken, which left Deep Embrace for last. And I've noticed over the weeklies, over the 13 weeks, that just his strength at playing Eisen, just whatever it is about, playing Eisen, whether it's on Corrupted Keep or Molten Falls or Ruins, even Awoken sometimes, like he's really good at playing Eisen. It just really fits how well he's been playing lately in his play style. So I just wanted to get rid of it. Just get rid of it off the bat. And I was willing to leave BJ up as the first pick if he were to take it, and I would try to play, a certain select few champions into it. But he opted for Galena, which has been another staple champion of his. So I picked BJ into that because, as I said against Garpy yesterday, I like the BJ matchup into Galena. I think that I can play into it really well, type deal. So that's why I went with that. And then on Molten, he made a really good ban because most of the time when I play Molten, I do play Sorlag, and Sorlag is a very good, strong pick there. And so he decided to get rid of that. And so I at first pick and I locked in Strog because this does one of two things. Av3k is very good at the crop sliding champions, even though he doesn't play Slash very much. Strog is a good matchup against Slash. It's a good 50-50 matchup. Like, both people have a good chance at winning. And he's just really good with Strog in general. So I wanted to eliminate that from his game. I wanted to eliminate a strength of his by using it myself. And he decided to pick Anarchy, which, to be honest, is a decent pick in this matchup. This also makes it, this one is pretty even. It just all depends on how the start is played. And both have their strengths and weaknesses. You just have to know your limits as Anarchy on like the fights that you're fighting from high ground or around the corner, based on if Strog has Peeker or not. And as Strog, you need to really be careful in contemplating how hard you're hitting on the day against Anarchy and the stack of Anarchy, because if you misjudge it, Anarchy will win the LG battles. And Av3k's LG this stage has been insane. I mean, like against Cygib, when he played him, he was LGing like 50+% every single map. Like, he was just hitting like a fucking truck. It was ridiculous. So I knew going into this matchup that I would have to like...
At Rapha, you've played such a pivotal role in keeping my favorite game ever alive. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I'll get to these after I do this set, okay? So I knew going into this matchup I'd have to be really hesitant on taking as many LG fights as I usually do, because he was likely going to out-aim me with that. I would have to kind of like feel it during the game. Like, how am I feeling on the day, and try to play around that. So then we went to Veil. He's been playing pretty well on Keel, and I don't really know him to play Scalebearer, so I decided to get rid of it. And typically I'm not against playing Scale into Ranger, even though Ranger is a decent matchup. So I was comfortable with him taking Ranger, and then I took Scale. And then he wisely banned Athena from me, because even if he had Doom up, I was going to pick Athena against him just based off of styles. And people in players in EU don't play Athena like I do. Like, there are some decent Athena players right now that have been playing her pretty well, but they don't play her in the same play style that I do. So it was a very good ban from him. And then typically, it's been a big toss-up in the community right now. Like, what's the better pick on this map? Is it Nyx into Doom, or does Doom have the advantage over Nyx, etc.? And I think if you look at it like half a year ago, I would say Nyx heavily would win this matchup because you can constantly get the vials, etc., etc. But to be honest, since we've been playing at home from more, like playing online, where hit scan is a bit more relevant than it is on LAN. And also, in the meantime, since the last LAN that we've had, we have 360 hertz monitors now, and almost all of the top EU players and top NA players are on 360 hertz now. So everybody is hitting super hard. Like the percentages that we're seeing compared on average to a year ago has gone up even more. So the damage output is insane. So that's why, like, even though she's a light champion and her hitbox should be a little bit smaller, the smoothness of the game now and how well we can hit, like sometimes the stack of doom does make the difference. And now you can win. And since she respawns with nothing, she respawns with no armor, Doom can sometimes get some really good control for a while, and it just makes Nyx's life a living hell. So before, whereas you could kind of like have the aim advantage as Nyx, it's kind of 50-50 now. So it really is important how you use your ability. It comes down to using it aggressively during the game to give yourself advantages, making sure that you're not just saving it to use it when you have no health left and then no options. But I chose her because, again, he's been playing Nyx very, very well. There's been a few matchups in the season where he's played both champions and he's played them extremely well, but I felt like with how hard he's been hitting in the smaller hitbox, I was like, I need to take this away from him. I need to not give him the option to be aggressive and have a get out of jail free card. So I'm going to take the risk and play Nyx into Doom right now, even though statistically lately Doom has been winning more in the matchup, just because of the strengths of my opponent. And that's why I decided to choose that. And then on the last map, I think Slash was left up, and Slash is not very good on Deep Embrace. So I decided to ban Clutch because Clutch, if one of us is playing Clutch very well, it could make the matchup really hard because he has mobility and the others don't. So I just wanted to make it kind of a 50-50 matchup, and I was like, whether he takes Visor, I'll just take the opposite. So he decided to pick Visor, and I picked Death Knight, which I would have been totally fine with in that matchup regardless. So that's why I made the ban that I made with the champs left. And yeah, so going to match, just needed to be ready. Like my mindset was, obviously playing the fundamentals very well, but being ready for anything. Like Av3k's aggression sometimes really catches people off guard. And so I needed to just be more aware and sometimes in certain instances take the game just a bit slower. There are times where I want to take it just a bit slower so that I'm ready for what he wants to do. And then there's other times where sometimes the best way to beat aggression is with aggression of your own. Because if you take the position first and you take the fight and you're creating the tempo, it doesn't allow them to create the kind of tempo that they're used to. They're not the one in control of the high speed tempo. They're having to react to it instead. So there's sometimes that you want to play that way. The best way to beat really aggressive players is one of two ways. You find ways to be aggressive first, or you are super, super defensive and you eliminate their options and you try to slow down the game. It's like a complete polar opposite of what you want to do. So let's go ahead and get into the game here.
Arby and Rapha, I think
to the Quake champion, and I'm actually going to lean to a 3-1 Rapha. I think Rapha's got the upper hand.
Like you said with the champion and the PV.
Okay, where do I spawn here?
Now, as we will head into map number 1 between Rapha and Av3k, it will be a best of.
Okay, so this is pretty standard. The big thing that I got to watch out for, even though I have dual wield, is I need to watch out for the player because they're going to spawn at shotgun and heavy. Is a good plan here typically is people run from heavy and they try to catch you once you're getting LG jumping to the window.
5 as we start from corrupted keep.
So that's why I'm like already checking here, and since I don't see him, I'm like, okay, it's safe because he either stumbled his movement or he's going to go to rocket, and I'll need to pay attention to that.
And the PV of Rapha.
Yeah, and for me, this is the one Av3k has to win. This is
and so based off of his pathing right now, I already know that okay, he's grabbed the heavy, and that means that the armor at Nailgun is still available. So what I want to do is try to damage him a bit if he tries to go for LG. and then I want to take the armor when it's most advantageous for me if I can. Because right now I have 70 armor. If I grab it, I'll only gain 30 instead of 50. So I kind of want to take a little bit of a fight if possible, but just make sure it's not an all-out engagement.
Picks are the most even. Galena actually probably
So I hear the telly, and now it's pretty simple. You just need to try to deny him from getting out for free.
slight upper hand for me, Av3k.
So and you see how like during the fight, because I know the armor is up behind me, I'm positioning myself to continue to back off. And then if I need to, I will pop dual wield if he decides to chase me. And I'll try to keep my distance and use heavy machine gun, which I just picked up, and stay out of his LG range since he doesn't have a heavy machine gun. And then I'll just either I get the kill and I get the armor and everything's great for me, or we just make a trade and now I'm going to take all the armor on the map.
Good on this map as well. We have an open engagement over by the Mega, and it is the
So he doesn't chase. So based off where he was and how the fight ended, he could decide to go to heavy, or he could stick around. So I'm trying to gain information.
He needs to win this map.
And Av3k knows that as well. Just, you know, trying to keep his distance a little bit, but at the same time trapping.
So I did a lot of damage, and I knew that, you know, I'm the one that's collecting that health there. So I want to see if I can move in and clean up this fight. Because if he has LG, he barely has any ammo left, just like me, if you see at the bottom right. Because the fight that we had lasted for a long time, and we wasted both of each other's stack. And see, he ran out of LG ammo there. If he didn't run out of LG ammo, he would have killed me, but I was paying attention to the likelihood of him running out of the ammo because of, you know, we're both starting with the same there. Since he had just picked up the LG, I had just picked up the LG. We hadn't picked up the ammo pack that's down here to my left. And it ended up letting me win the fight because I trapped him where rockets are good and then just switched weapons to machine gun, cleaned it up. And so now the BJ passive is really good here. And other champions, I can't just push into this room because I'm 26 health. But the BJ passive and healing up in between this fight allows me to push into the center and take a more aggressive stance. And so then what I'm going to try to do here is damage the Mega and steal the armor from him. Or if he wants the armor and the rocket, then I get the Mega health. He has to make a choice. And then I'll deal damage and take the rest.
Engagement picks up the heavy too. Mega is still up, but Av3k
Yep, so here I know he's picked up the Mega, I know the timing, and I know he wants an LG. And if he doesn't, he's going to leave and give up good positioning on the map. I know he's likely going to take this because he has heavy machine gun to fight with, and he just took the Mega. So what I want to do is try to, you know, deal a little bit of damage, take this armor, and then assess the situation after.
Straight for that on spawn.
Yeah, not the best start, but as you said, gets the Mega spawn.
So the reason I take it before taking more damage there is because now there's, like, we've stalled this fight a little bit. It's taking more time. I want to give myself enough time to have options and rotate. I don't want to get caught out by making a bad read and he cuts me off first and has good position.
Gets out looking relatively healthy. No toast is at the moment, just cooling down. So has that in his pocket if he needs.
And here, this is just a dumb ass blunder. It's just like I should fucking know. I have no LG ammo. You know, this is horrible.
Which he does, going in aggressive over Rapha.
You see my face, I'm like, man, that was so dumb. That was so dumb of me to do that. That I have no ammo. I should have just stuck out with machine gun the whole time, and I'd have been fine. It's just really bad. So now I have dual wield though, and I'm getting more health, and I can collect the LG ammo here. So that's why this is going to be a strong position for me. If I didn't have dual wield, based off of him getting past me like that, it's not good to do this.
And with the items relatively on the same time.
So I haven't heard him chasing through banana, so I'm taking high grounds to either catch him out up here to see where he is, or maybe catch him trying to go for the vials or something, get a little bit of chip damage before I collect the heavy armor. Because I also know the Mega time. The Mega time is at like, what, 7 or 8. It's like between then.
Av3k will have to settle with Rapha picking up for one of them.
So I see him as I drop down. So now I'm going to go low, and I know that I can't rush this Mega. It would be way too risky to do that going through this choke point. There hasn't been enough time between the items to do this. And so I'm just going to try to deal damage and keep track of the timing. So just spammed a rocket, and since I hit it, I likely know that, okay, I hit it at 8, he probably picked it up at the same time. But that also means that I can now take this position, and he has no right to be here. He should not be at this window. Like, I don't know why he thought he could get here first or whatever, but he's just very boldly making this move that he shouldn't make.
Over to that area, but he is defending the choke points. Av3k would need to
And so now that I have LG
I
ammo,
say that
I can take this fight. Like I said, he really shouldn't be here in the first place. And then in the middle of the fight, I know he's going to do one of two things. He's either going to try to back up to the entrance here, or he's going to push into me. So I switched to heavy machine gun because in case he starts backing off, I don't have to worry about the range. And he should be weak enough that I can deal enough DPS in the meantime to collect the kill. And even if he pushes me, then I'll still be able to use it. Whereas LG right now, I was low on ammo, and I might not be able to push to finish the kill. He might be able to back out of the range and then escape. So switching to MG is the key to winning that fight there and keeping my stack.
Rapha's coming out super aggressive, and again the utility experience.
And so now, thankfully, he also died with the LG out. I don't have to waste my time going to get the LG to get more ammo. It's already en route to the next armor.
This opening minute and a half.
And so sometimes I know Av3k likes to play aggressive and make bold moves. So like I said, you have to play the game a little slow. And so here I was listening out for where he is. And since I heard him, I knew, okay, he's probably streaming through low with shotgun. Now's a good time to try to deal some damage because he's going to just rush to LG. Because if you're not ready for the rush, sometimes it just works out and they get in for free. But because I held around long enough, it allowed me to deal some damage, and now I'm continuing the cycle. So I've punished him for his pickup. And here, even though I know I can likely be a little late and he'll get it, I have dual wield and I'm going to be 100, 175 moving into this fight where because I dealt all that damage before, and I know that the small armor up top is after the mega, that he's only going to be 175 max. So this is a good fight to take, regardless of whether I kill him or not.
Rapha's going to try and push in and contest the mega if he can. He was so close, but Av3k's done so much damage.
And I know why he's rushing there. He's trying to get to, because if you look back at it,
so much.
He's trying not to get stalled out on the map. Okay. Oh, that's too far. We'll just have to watch it again. So he's trying not to get too stalled out on the map here, because he knows, like, I have the BJ passive. If I just move under him towards the pad, I'm going to get healed up and then get positioned for the light. And also, as you can see through the, the X-ray, he's got his totem up here at the window. So it's likely active. So he's hoping that he can make it there, and during the fight, he can collect it. But at the beginning of this fight, I still have just a bit of dual wield left, which adds more knockback. And it allows me to finish the kill here. Since he's like predictably moving through the air, it's easier for me to hit him and to kill him before he can reach the totem. Then I'm going to be fine, because now I'm going to be 75. And this is a problem too, that some player, when they play against BJ, they underestimate the power of the passive. So they're like, oh man, he's so weak. He's probably like 50 health. I should rush. Whereas now I'm not going to just be 50 health. I'm going to be 75, and then whatever this armor is. So I'm going to be 75-50 instead. So every now and then, some situation in those games, you'll get an extra kill because you're just a bit more stacked, and they're like not respecting your position because they think that you're too weak. Here I'm going to die anyway because I figured he would try to like get guns and set up for the heavy, but he rushed back to this position, and I didn't hear him coming past me because I was shooting the totems.
Barely manages to survive.
So I'm like trying to take them out. And that's fine that I took them out, but I needed to do that while taking that armor. This is actually like a really bad death from me. Since I didn't expect him to rush me and like I just didn't hear him, he gets a free kill, and now he's potentially going to have full control just because of that mistake from me. So now here, I just need to try to deal max damage and die. He cut me off.
Right before the next round of items as well, so perfect timing for Av3k, who's clawing his way back into this game.
So here I'm just trying to maintain information because I know that the heavy and the mega are around at the same time. The heavy's just up a bit before. So I need to figure out what he's doing and then pick the best option. And so right now I pick the mega, I get out. And I know that now the mega is before the heavy because the only way he could get to that position was to keep chasing and not collect it. So now I take position in the center to try to spam, get some free damage, and equalize the stacks here. As well as I know that the armor around Rocket is gonna come up first.
And in doing so, has created a natural split.
So I'm giving myself multiple options here to A, deal damage, and B, keep continuation on the cycle. So like I said, you have to try to be against super aggressive players. You have to come to a complete stall, or you have to be aggressive first. And there it's being aggressive with positioning and trying to slow him down and not let him do what he wanted to do. Because what he wanted to do is take that heavy and rush and meet me somewhere, you know, where he can abuse and use the stack against me.
Before this next mega.
What Avic's doing though, just keeping his distance, just using that heavy machine gun to its full extent.
So now I'm just trying to, again, zone him out because guess what's first? The mega health is first before the heavy. So now I'm trying to push in through lower because I figured he might be going high to like go through the bridge and defend position there. But he's actually chosen the right one to to defend here. It all just comes down to knowing the exact timing and how this LG fight pans out. And since I hit so much here as he's trying to escape, because during the fight he starts like panicking with his aim. He's thinking like, okay, I really need to be in position for the heavy, because he realizes he starts to lose, which then makes him miss even more. And I just hit him really hard as he's predictably going towards one angle to escape. So I knew it's worth trying to push him here and kill him before this heavy. And so I push him through, and I successfully get the kill before the heavy, and now I've got control back again. So the key here is, as soon as he's taken the position at the window, I need to pop dual wield to secure this light armor. Even though I moved into the room, we'll watch it again. Even though I move into the room to figure out where he is and what he's doing, as soon as he gets here, he has two options. He's only going to be on one side of the window, the right or the left, and he has to guess correctly. And I'm only at 100 armor, so any damage that I take means that then I can actually pick it up. And so if I get there with the dual wield, I will have more knockback with the LG in this fight than he will. So if I get the positioning, I can secure it and get it first. If he makes the right choice and he chooses the correct path, he might just not take any damage and get away, but it allows me to keep the pressure on and keep his stack down. And so he tries to stick that fight out because, I don't know, maybe he thought he had a good bead at the beginning, but I end up getting a kill, which is completely what he needed to avoid in this situation. But thankfully from his perspective, yes, he gave up another kill, but he has two totems up at Banana right now, and he's about to get a third off the respawn because of the vials that he just picked up. So even if he loses out on Mega, it's not the worst thing in the world. So I see the aura of the totems. I'm like, okay, I know that he's super stacked now. I have to play a bit more respectful. I need to try to take these out and possibly give up Mega position. So I hear him take the armor, but I hear that he's spamming and he's not rushing towards the Mega. So I'm like, okay, this is a mistake. He should have obtained position to steal the item. Instead, he's trying to just fight, and then maybe he's either going to all in. His options now are to all in with Nail and maybe shotgun if he has it, or to try to back off and secure the heavy. But instead of like, at a pivotal moment, I decide to switch to rockets during the fight to try to turn it around. Because I knew if he backs off, it's going to be really predictable to chase him, and he'll hit a lot of nails. And so since he's waited too long in the fight, I should try to like make it a close range engagement instead of a mid-range engagement. And it messes up his aim and allows me to get the kill. And so I know right now, okay, yes, the light armor is above. It's there. But if I rush to shotgun right now, and it's very important that you go to shotgun and not the left side, because as you're going this way, they might spawn over at Nailgun, which then allows them to peek through Banana to look at you. And if you cut through when you're weak like this towards the ammo, it gives them more line of sight, and they might be able to kill you with machine gun before you reach the heavy. Whereas if you rush to shotgun, especially since I have BJ's passive healing me in the meantime, I'll be 50 health trying to go for the armor rather than taking damage and the passive not kicking in. So now I've already made it here. I'm going to try to get it. And I didn't even follow my own advice of going to shotgun. I should have went to shotgun. So right now, my objective is to, like, he's doing what he should do right here. He was checking to see if I ran that way. He's trying to kill me and make me pay the price for picking that up. He's trying to defend his totems because likely if he kills me, he'll collect the vials and get overstack again before the next mega. So I need to escape, just collect health, and then take the totem fortress out that he's got over there. I get some good damage, and I shoot a rocket thinking, oh, okay, this rocket will likely take out 2 of them. It does not. It takes out 1 somehow. So he's going to get the overstack anyway. And right here, since I hit the entry rocket, I decided to go in because it messes up his movement. He can't spam as effectively, and I should be able to kill him. And that's also the big clue, if you go back, is in this fight here, as I'm hitting him, I don't see any of the aura of the totems activating. So I know he's not getting healed while he's doing this. And so he's gonna fight for position for the health up top.
Still doing a huge chunk of damage here, and Av3k is doing everything he can to go for the trade.
So then I get another kill. I take this and I'm like, okay, I want to take the totem, all of them out, but I need to secure position on the next mega. I either need to punish him and then back off, or I need to maybe cut him off and then hopefully take it.
Another explosive start here.
So I get, to be honest, I don't fucking know how I did 60 damage with the shotgun there. I wish it would have done that fucking damage in that Maxter game on Exile. Why did it not do that? So now that I've done 60 damage as he's going for LG, I need to drop.
Especially in this series, he's going straight in with the shot.
I'm trying to force him to make an escape and be predictable with his movement because I have enough stack to fight this. I deal a lot of damage. I try to see if I can kill him as he's getting the light or just deal more damage because I still have the positional advantage on Mega. If he tries to fall towards Mega from the window, I will turn and light him up. So right now, so I see he lays the totem. I'm like, okay, now I can't win this fight. I have to respect it, collect the Mega. So now I know with how good his machine gun is, and he's literally sitting near 50 health, that his stack is likely 150-25 at this point, not 125. So I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to get out, take this armor, and try to secure my position on the heavy, because if I leave now, I can make sure that I make it there. And I can take these out on my way, and that's why when I ran in the second one, in my mind, I was like, man, that rocket really only killed 1 totem when they're all clumped there. Because I should be even healthier than I am now. He's aggressively pushing here. He's trying to catch me with some like lucky rockets. But I play this very patiently and just happen to choose the right side that he's dodging to and clean up this fight pretty cleanly. Taking just, what, like 60 to 80 damage from 1 rocket there is pretty good. And again, he's like trying to rush out from LG. I think he's just been used to bullying people. Like with his LG aim and just, I don't know, his unpredictability sometimes, but I'm trying to be ready for anything.
Dude, my strategy's not working, but
and here is machine gun. Like, we're evenly stacked, and he goes up a jump pad, but he kills me anyway. It just, his aim is just so good with HMG sometimes.
Big turning point for me was that natural split.
So I pop dual wield here to just secure the item. And so then I know that since that fight had taken place before, all of his totem fortress is out, so he doesn't have overheal. And I've taken the Mega from him, that at most he's 150. So I'm going to be moving into this position with machine gun and shotgun. And if he decides to stay and hold firm, the closer that I get and move into here makes the shotgun more effective. So we're fighting it out. And instead of backing off towards the heavy, which might have been able to get him to item, he decides to, like, he thinks he's being unpredictable by dodging back in to try to secure himself a bigger burst of LG. But I pull out the double shot. Give me that buckshot. Boom. And so he moved too close into range. He would have won the LG versus machine gun battle, but deciding to switch at the right time based off of the distance secured me the frag. And I was going to make that decision whether I won or lost the fight, because if I lost, he would be very weak collecting the heavy, and he would have to spend time collecting health. And then I would respawn and be okay because I have this lead, this buffer. That's like the reason why it's a decent play to make regardless of whether I won the fight or not, because even if I don't, it'll be super weak. And in this case, if I win it, great. I get to extend my lead, kind of even out control. So it's a win-win regardless.
Literally, you know, he had the position, you had the range, just pushed in a little bit too much.
So I catch him again.
Just doing too much damage.
But his machine gun aim fucks me again. So he's still kind of weak though, so I'm alright with it. I catch him with some good spam, and so since I caught him with a couple, you know, plasma there, I'm gonna decide to try to all in for this mega because I shouldn't just let him get it now that I've dealt good entry damage, since I knew he was so weak before, and there was no extra health behind him anyway. And it's a close fight, but I come out on top.
Maybe a little bit too greedy there.
So now I know that I'm going to miss out, like most likely on the heavy, but I'm taking this position because if I hear him at the heavy, then I know that I go to the light armor because off of his spawn, he wouldn't be there. If he comes from the light armor, I can drop and defend the heavy. Hit him with a great entry rocket, and he's just done. And as long as I just keep playing the way that I'm playing, I've got this game locked up with 7 frags. As long as I don't give up an insanely stupid kill where he gets it super cleanly and gets the death cycle going, I should be able to hold this for 5 minutes.
Come back in through. He's now decided not to do that. I think you used the term greedy. I would agree. Some of these pushes did smack of a bit of greed.
There, I just catch him being over aggressive, trying to make up frag deficit. Same thing here. Deal good damage, back off. And I don't even worry about getting... There are times in the game where I want to get the light and then get the heavy, but here the one way for him to get back into the game is to cleanly get the heavy and get away. So why even risk it? Just take the heavy, let him have 50 armor. Look to engage him again soon. Really nice LG. And so I know, like, if he even tries to run away here in this position, he's gonna dual shotgun will work, as well as if he moves closer to the health, well, shotgun's gonna do more damage at close range most likely. So it's time to pop it and just use dual wield shotgun, not even worry about any other gun right now. Boom, boom, dead.
You have to say 9 frags now. There is absolutely no.
So there, I'm just trying to cautiously spam. So as soon as I hear him with the nails and I didn't hit any damage, I know that I'm just going to be trying to mitigate his mega pickup now, because he's moved past the dangerous zone and he's going to get it. So here, see how as I don't go in, I'm like trying to deal damage, I'm trying to stall him, I'm trying to cut him off. And there, I just look for him to predictably move into the room because he wants to get the heavy position. So I just deal some damage, I collect the health, I know the timing, and so now I'm going to collect some more health, and I heard him scream, so I know that he's weak. And if you're equal in health, this is a dangerous move, because the player on the bottom is likely going to have an easier time shooting you, the person that's jumping and floating towards the health. But if he's weak enough and he's too focused on trying to make the heavy on this route, it makes him easy to hit, which is exactly what happened. So now I get the heavy. If he had gone to shotgun, I would have immediately backed up from the health towards the light armor at nail.
Really wants. He's hoping to trade on so many occasions. Even after 1 or 2 tries, he will do it again, hoping to at least, you know, if he takes him down, he can pick up his weapons.
Here, see, I'm just taking my time. I know that there's time left for Mega. Now I'm just catching him. Like, he doesn't really have much choice there. He had to do what he had to do. You know. He couldn't really hold position on Mega. He was just trying to see if, you know, I wouldn't chase and he could get the armor and get out.
Has been the biggest point of concern.
But at this point, this game is over. There's no coming back with 3.5 minutes and an 11-point deficit, especially with the shape that I've been playing in. So he was trying to play a very, fast up-tempo game, and he was trying to get a full cycle on the map and just try to bully me is what he was trying to do. But I played very, very sound in this game, and I chose the right times to be aggressive ahead of time, and then I chose other times to be a standstill and to listen and react, and like really limit his options of aggression and try to just punish him for it every time. So yeah, I just played a really, really good game here, and just shut down his strategy. He needed to play a little less aggressive to be honest, and try to play for a closer scoreline than the trading that he tried to do. Trading against BJ in this matchup, it's just it can be really rough, man, because his passive kicks in and it helps. Like, yes, you're Galena and you can lay your totem, and sometimes your totems can help make it deceptive for you. But you got to think about it. Like, after every single fight that you have, BJ's passive can kick in. Your totem doesn't necessarily kick in, especially if the other player is taking them out, because you're waiting on a 45-second cooldown to get that extra health boost. Whereas every single engagement and you stop peeking again, 3 seconds later he starts healing for 25. So the amount of time, that would be an interesting stat to see on like games where people are playing Blazkowicz, like how much health they actually get back during the game from the passive alone. And that's why in certain fights, it's very important not to take small chip fights with him. They need to be like all or nothing, hold your ground, because if you don't, he'll like slowly out attrition you. And because he's gaining that health back, he doesn't have to go out of his way to get health. He can still take and obtain aggressive position. So we'll go on to the next map here. Unfortunately, it doesn't have like the, what's it called? The picture of it, so we'll just have to guess.
Him winning on Vale, scale against Rangers. So this is, for me, the last chance for him. Up very early.
Okay, let's go back a minute.
Here to
build into this game.
Okay, so in this matchup, both abilities.
Congrats on the belt, Rapha.
Both abilities are very, very important, and typically, whoever is controlling the heavy armor side will have their ability up more often, as well as you want to make sure, if you can, that you're controlling heavy more often than Anarchy for two things. Hi, sweetie. Hello. You want to deny the vials from him because you don't want him to constantly build his base health stack over the course of the game, as well as it makes him really strong. Being able to control, like if he controls the light armor at rail and he controls the heavy, or he's, controlling the light armor above the mega and denying it from you, then comes back and takes the heavy. So he's got the full armor stack, and he can overstack on his health with the med kit, with the injection constantly. He'll be so hard to deal with, because then even though he doesn't have to make his way to mega on this map, he can have the overstack, the complete overstack against you. So even though you as a medium should be able to outstack him sometimes, and you could take fights based off that if you use your speed correctly and create good engagements, it could be deceptive, because if you're not controlling the heavy properly, he'll just be a little bit healthier than you were expecting, and he'll come out with good kills. So the key to winning this is to try to create rocket fights more often, so that it pops Anarchy up and stops him from being able to use his air control to his best advantage, and kind of like stuffs him in what he's doing. You want to take shotgun fights. You want to be in his face. And then sometimes you do need to have rail battles, but Anarchy is going to have the advantage because of the hitbox difference. He just will. So that's kind of what you're looking for. And like I said, with the LG battle, his LG has been better than mine. So I need to kind of feel how the LG fights are going throughout the game and try to only take them if I know that I have the health and armor stack over him to deal with it. So yeah. How impactful is it to increase the base health? I see matter of fact like once every 5 games, but the later that the game goes, the more impactful that it is, because then as Anarchy you can potentially get to a point where you have just your base health and you're at like 110. And you got to think about it. Once you get to 105, so actually once you get to 106 total health, even if you're just collecting both light armors, it takes 3 rails to kill you then instead of 2. So then you can be even more, you could start gambling towards the later part of the game with rail battles. You can use your speed to gain position to get rails first, and you can use your hitbox difference to try to win those fights, because at the beginning of the game, he's squishier. If he's just his base health of like 100 or 101 at the beginning of the game, and he has 75 armor that he's collected, if you find him and you can rail him twice before he gets to health, you will kill him. So the longer the game goes on and the more injections that he uses, the better it is for him in the rail game. So.
Worried about is the fact that Av3k
So I get this
plays a
spawn, and since I'm a champion with speed, I'm going to go to rail.
fast and aggressive on this map. So
I'm going to be here. I have shotgun. I have peeker. If he wants to rush me here at this doorway, I'll take this quote-unquote 50-50 fight, because even though he's got rockets, I've got the shotgun hit scan. The shotgun will reload faster, and if he just takes one wrong move, I can follow up with peeker.
we'll see
I'm
if we
trying to
continue.
take complete advantage here and get the full 175 armor instead of 150. And so once I go through this portal, I'm doing this just in case he decided not to go for Mega, because he's Anarchy. He already has one built in. And so I see that he's already taken the LG.
Or things will work out a
And so I'm
little
looking
bit
for
better.
him
We'll
first.
start
And I took this route in case he decided to drop to the heavy. If he decided to drop and go get it behind me, then I would just take the LG and then go to Mega, because I know that he can't be there fast enough by getting the Mega based off the beginning spawns and then make it there. That Mega is still up right now. I know that.
on Rapha
So now I'm going to guess based off the jump pad sound that, okay, Mega is likely at 11, and so now Heavy is 14.
quite a bit, but the items aren't really too segregated enough to contest both these items. But Rapha has heard.
So just a quick spam rail there, trying to play the 50-50 game on where he's going to go, where he's going to peek. Yep, and so I take the rail, but it's not that bad. We're about even.
Seconds looks like both of them are just trying to see exactly where each other could be. I think that both
I'm trying to position and just catch him out going for vials since he's not there. Now I'm trying to see if he's going for heavy or for mega. I hear he's down here. And so I try to just deal some damage, and then I'm likely going to back off. Yeah, especially after that rocket. I'll back off, and I'll just go collect mega. So I know the timing on heavy. I have the timing on mega still. And unfortunately, I miss the rocket there. That could have turned out very badly for him, because right there he should have been... let's see. At the position that he's at, he needs to be railing, not shooting a rocket here. Because he can try to react with the rail right away and maybe hit me, whereas this rocket, it's not likely to hit Strog because of the speed that you can be coming through. So this puts him in a very dangerous situation, and I reacted and turned, and he did a good job dodging. And as you can see, he kitted, and he still had a little bit of the speed, which made it a little more unpredictable. That saved him, because otherwise he takes a bad rocket there. He has no escape. He's popped up, stuck in a corner, and then he'll die. So now I'm going to try to secure position and just know that like this armor is likely before the heavy. So I'm going to see if he's trying to play for it or if he's just playing super safe and going back to mega. So I hit this rail. I'm going to see if I can follow up. I'm like, okay, he's playing it super safe. I'll just take this heavy, and then I'll try to cut off the mega afterwards and deal damage. Okay, so I hear him going lower. Apparently I was watching an ad during the finals. Holy cannoli. Okay, hold on. All right, so once I heard him escape low, I'm looking to deal damage, and by taking the position that I did, though, I denied him taking the light armor that's above mega because he didn't want to potentially take a bunch of damage going up the jump pad, and that's why he took the padding that he did. So I know that I can take this fight because I have the armor behind me. If he went up the jump pad, he might escape for free, but I was going to try to rail him. If he doubles back, we'll just take this fight anyway. So here, he's Anarchy, he's stacked. After this shot, I decide that I don't want to rail fight him now. I want to use Tri-Bolt. Maybe mess up his movement, just guarantee some damage because I'm at the right distance. Because I wanted to make sure I got some damage and not no damage here. I needed to make sure I got a little bit. Because taking like 2 for 2 rails there and not dealing anything would have absolutely changed the momentum of this game, and he would have had full control. So I back off, collect the armor, and I move in here. Now this is an area that you'll see as the fight pans out here that can be tricky when you're playing against Strog, so from his perspective. So right now he's trying to gain position on the heavy to try to cut me off here, and you see that he doesn't have the light armor from rail. So he's given that up to try to maintain position. But if I take this like rail battle here, and at any point like I peek with rail and then I use peeker right after, I'm going to have vision on him once peeker is destroyed. So that gives me the advantage for the following rail, because if he destroys the peeker with rail here, which is the likely scenario because of the distance that he's in, that gives me a whole like half second to a second to get a free rail shot. And then from there, I either push in based off my stack, or I can, you know, fall down and then try to attack the heavy from there, etc. So he hits a nice rail. I don't follow up with one, but see, I use peeker here, and I deal, what was that? 120 damage. And so I know that he's fallen. I saw him fall because of the radar passive there that you get, and so now I know that I can move into position. Even though I'm railable, I'm going to be able to hide my angles and likely collect this health so that I can't be railed again and die instantly. So I wait that out. I have it. What a crazy shot that he hit there. Like, literally just the tiniest pixel. And so now I'm like, okay, he's got one of two choices. He's going to aggressively stay for heavy, or he's going to back off to the light and then push me. And I'm like, at this point, I need to just try to gamble for this heavy, whether I win or die. Because if I die and he tries to attack me here, then I will likely spawn by Mega. If I somehow win, I'll at least have the lead and all the guns. So it's kind of forced my hand here. I kind of have to do this. So I hear him pick that up. And this, to be honest, this is just super lucky. Like, I should not have gotten if I get a kill, it shouldn't be this clean.
Until he eats another rail.
And he eats 2 directs. So the poor bastard hasn't dealt any damage to me. He didn't even get to trade kills or anything. I get it. I'm able to pick up the heavy, take Destroyant, and try to, because of Destroyant, be able to move into position to try to deal damage after. So sometimes I get a little lucky. Okay, so I see that the Mega is gone. I hear the jump head. I'm like, alrighty. Now I need to try to cut off guns, see if I can deal some more damage. And I know that this light armor is coming up. I'm trying to be aggressive and obtain position since I saw that he wasn't there and that he might be working around to LG. And this was a mistake. So even though I know he's only 175, guess whose LG has been on fire this tournament? That man was like, let me use my natural human aimbot and fuck you up. What you thought should be a good fight just turned out not to be, because I'm going to hit literally everything. So I'm like, all right, well, that didn't work out as planned, but dying there isn't the worst thing. I'm going to spawn on the opposite side. Peeker is almost back. He's very weak. And I'm going to be able to get position first for this heavy. And I know that the light is just right before, but the importance is getting these guns and getting position for heavy. So I'm spamming him out. I fake going through the doorway and luckily like whip it around and deal really good damage. So now I'm like, okay, now I need to be on the hunt. I need to try to find a way to deal damage here. So I don't have Peeker here to try to play safe now, but I know the timing of the light because of the last fight. I need to move in here aggressively with rockets, not take an LG fight this time. Yep, so I slide past the dangerous LG point because he's trying to hold the choke, and then I can switch to LG because it takes what, like 0.4, 0.5 seconds once you've used the injection to start shooting again. So now I have free time to shoot him. And he had switched to rockets, so I took better position to like back up, make it a mid-range fight. And so here, I'm like, okay, he might be trying to get above me. I need to just try to escape. And if worst comes to worst, I'll try to take the light and give up the heavy here and then play for the Mega. It's a crazy rail. I don't even see him for the second one. And I was like, that's fucking dog shit. So we're tied again. But based off the spawn that I got, I can get position for this heavy to either deal damage or scare him away, and I'll take it. And here, I was going to leave, but I'm like, oh shit, I hit him with a 90 damage rocket. And guess what? It's anarchy. When you hit a rocket like that, you have to react instantly in this situation. You have to know that he's likely floating. So I'm like, oh, maybe I should see this out now. So I get him to leave. And so this situation, I am gambling. I am gambling here that he won't double back. And what I'm trying to do is to get into range, because if he just full speed goes towards the Mega, if I make it to the window in time, there's a good possibility that my shotgun will deal enough damage to kill him. I don't deal enough damage because I got there just a bit late. So now it's time to just cut him off, make sure that he can't reach the portal, and now I'll go get this LG, and then I'll take the heavy. So there's a really big delay now.
Even delaying the heavy even more, recognizing he's got the stack advantage.
And so I try to move in to attack him in this area. I safely get knocked back in there into the portal. And it's a fight that should have went better for me, but due to rocket bounces that were good from him this time, unlike what happened to him at Nail, it ends up working out to being okay, and he's able to restack himself. So now I make my way over here. I know that I can't get the Mega, and I'm going to have to play slow now. I just have to accept that the situation went to shit for me over by rail, and I have to give up control now. So while he's positioning for the heavy, I'm going to spam to like try to successfully get the rail and just leave. And so now I know, okay, he's taken the heavy, and he's going to be looking for me, and he can't collect that armor now. If he really wants to damage himself that much and take it, be my guest. But I just need to stay away from him for a little bit and try to get on even terms and make him pick a position. And if he goes to Mega Side, guess what? I'm going to go take the armor at the rail. If he's trying to stay there too long, I might be able to stall him and take the Mega myself. So here the portal, I'm looking out for jukes. I catch him with one rail, which makes it so that he's going to go for Mega for sure now. So I go and collect this in the meantime. I quickly take position. I'm trying to cut off him either going at the portal or potentially attacking from LG. I have Peeker, which Peeker can be good here from either location. So he attacks from behind. I didn't hear him. He hits the rail, so I'm like, okay, now the situation is bad. I just need to leave. Okay, so I hear him pick up the heavy while I pick up the light, so I know the timing. I try to cut him off, and now, based off that really nice rail that he hit there, I'm in the shitter again. So I'm like, okay, he's playing really, really well. He's hitting some very, very key shots. I just need to not overcommit to an area and give away a free frag here. It's just all about, okay, I need to stabilize again and really play for either when I die, it's after a major item and I can get control back from the death, or I need to slowly work on his impatience of having this control and try to work it back that way.
Good 47 damage from that last rocket. Is Rapha still pretty
so now I know that he's got such a stack that he might be chasing me. That's why I didn't just stay on the light. If I had just stayed here, he has kit and is moving in at full speed from the portal, because I know as Anarchy you can go through the port and then curve down into Banana right. It's a really easy, quick move that you can do to try to chase people. And if I would have been at that position, he likely would have found me and gone up 3-2 and then been able to get Mega after. So I hit that, so I know he's coming. And he has rail out for some reason. If he had decided to take the fight like at the corner, he might have been able to turn it around. But I deal some decent damage. Now I start protecting my angles. I take this. I just safely spam, get position. Now I'm trying to stall him and cut him off from the next heavy potentially. Okay, so I know he's likely coming from over here, so I'm seeing if I can get some free damage. I don't get much, that's okay. And here, I just do a good job of catching him at the right time, trying to make his way down to heavy. I'm making myself difficult to hit. I deal some good damage, but I know that right now, if I take a rail, I'm likely not going to kill him, because he might have medkit. And if I take any damage, I ain't got shit to back onto right now. It's too long before the Mega. So this is why I decide to dip.
Good opening route from Rapha, a second as well.
So I leave. I'm trying to obtain position on the Mega. And I'm like, well, this is a free gift. I decided to check it just in case he was too stacked last time when he picked up the Mega, and to see if it was still up. And lo and behold, now I'm in a wonderful position. I'm in a wonderful position to gain control back off of those two rails. It's really, really important that I didn't have one more shot itis and look for more after I did that damage. Getting the control here will allow me to gain more options.
This Mega, that inject suggests that Av3k still...
Okay, and then I'm like, I can defend this position and see if he's coming from here. And try to like damage him if he's used kit, and it works out perfectly. I get a free rail. So now as I'm dropping for Mega, what are the two most dangerous areas for this right now? He can't reach me from the right, so I don't need to give a shit about him coming from LG based off where he was with the time that comes up. I need to look at the pad, or I need to look at the left entrance here. So I look at the pad. Boom. We trade rails, which is good for me because guess what? He doesn't have jack shit to back up onto now. So the only thing he might be able to do is to get to just over 100 health before the next heavy. So now is the time to push into heavy and try to take control back. And he should know that. He's collecting the health to try to get above 100, which he is. So it would take 2 rails to kill him. And I know that he might be that. So I'm trying to avoid rail battles, especially since he's been hitting really hard. I'm trying to use my champion to its best right now, to overwhelm position with the crouch sliding and to take a closer fight. And I have enough health and armor now that I don't give a shit about how good he's going to hit LG. I know he has no health to back up onto, and that I'm going to be taking position where this 25 is still going to be here, and it should help me during this fight. So I move past the nails. Even though I'm taking some, it's okay. I know he's screaming here, so I'm moving forward to take position, to cut off his exit, and to get this kill. Boom. Get the kill. Just make sure that I collect the heavy no matter what here if he decides to rush me. So he doesn't. So now I'm securing this area to get health. I hear him. And I'm like, I don't want to stay around here too long and take a bad rocket. I'd rather leave and secure position. And I tried to crouch slide to the rocket, but I just failed on my sliding angle and I dropped to the ground. But that's okay. I just need to keep damaging him and backing off towards the health that's to my right and the Mega. So I collect this to try to make better value out of the Mega, which I'm going to need because he's going to drop down to deal more damage with heavy machine gun. And so I missed the rail there, but it's okay. I know that he hasn't had any items to collect, and I need to contest again for this heavy, especially since I have Peeker. I'm going to collect LG, covering the exit there, and then I bought time. He decided not to go through the portal, so now I'm just trying to pick the correct time to drop to either catch him rushing the heavy or just stalling there, and now I can collect it. I hit the rail. He peeks a little too much to hit another, and I managed to get another kill. So now here, like last time, I took the fight. He had gotten the Mega before and then decided to come back or whatever. But this time I know he doesn't have it, and I'm going to get there faster, so I'm going to take this. Again, even though his LG has been really good.
That was so greedy from Av3k. Double peek. He missed the first. We have another.
I get another free kill.
Really predictable. And now it's set up
So I spam the predictable spot. I miss, but so does he, so it's okay. It made him aiming at me difficult because he had to think about the rockets. So here I'm trying to overwhelm the rail position, hoping that he doesn't hit the rail or he's a little late to getting there. And as this happens now, I'm like, you know what? I'm up 3. Over chasing here is not a good idea, especially since he popped kit. It's going to be hard to hit him. He's got heavy back to him. I just need to try to cut him off and keep him from getting more guns, etc., and just play safe now. So I have the timing. He decides to come up the jump pad. So I'm like, all right, I've got the perfect gun ready for this. And I'm taking into the equation that I have Peeker. So I'm going to try to drop at an angle where it makes it difficult for him to chase me with rail to kill me, because I'm likely going to take enough damage that I'm railable. And I could maybe deal enough burst damage here to either make him super weak if he kills me or get a frag myself. So I spam the rocket. I hit a shit ton of damage here. And then the all-important, once Peeker's dead and you've seen the guy, it gives you a half second of seeing him. So I know where he's going to peek, and I managed to hit the clutch rail. That frag, as long as I play the rest of the game correctly, just secured the win. I can hold on to a 4-frag lead on this map, in this matchup, as long as I play it correctly. Him going up the jump pad, if he wanted to, he needed to not clip it there. He needed to realize, I shot a rocket in the first place. He should go up higher, make it, more difficult to hit him, and he might have been able to turn it around. But he was hoping to hit a lot of nails there. So now I'm just trying to gain position. I fortunately don't take a huge rocket here, so it allows me to survive. But I realize I have to just give up the Mega, and it's okay. So I give it up. I just deny the position by holding the pad. I'm like, if you really want to come up here against LG, good luck. So I just secure myself a little armor. Again, I'm just trying to keep tabs on what's going on. Dare him to go up the jump pad to deal some damage. And I just need to run for now, especially after he hits that shot. And this is an amazing shot. It catches me right as I'm about to not be visible, and manages to make it a 3-point deficit. And then he was either going to come from LG or for rail, and I took the choice to gamble to go for rail because I knew the armor would be up and that he might not be able to take it, and it would be good to like try to trade, but he got there faster than I anticipated. And so now I'm trying to just get away and hopefully just survive and run it out. But he just hits me with enough LG to switch to rail and to get a kill. So now I'm like, okay, I'll just get this rocket, move over to this armor. I know I can get this LG because he has to respect the speed, and he's going to get the heavy. So it at least gives me some guns to work with now. And now I'm not playing for control again. I'm just playing to keep tabs on him and to delay him. If I get a good string of LG here, I can kill him maybe. If not, just giving myself options. Oh, he takes good position. I can't go through the mid, so I just have to give it up. I'm like, okay, just need to keep my decent stack, make sure I can't be railed, and get back to 100-100. Focus on the ammo, and then see if I can work my way to a rail. So I know that he's gone up the pad, and he's either gone to shotgun or LG, so it gives me a chance to get rail. So now I'm just holding chokes, keeping my distance. And just trying to make myself really difficult to chase. Nope. Holding the choke, I do a shit ton of damage. And I do that because I know that I'm likely not going to get the kill with the peeker, but I want to make sure that I get the heavy timing. Just in case, like in the next minute, you know, when it hits 9:09 now, is it something that I could potentially fight for? Or like if he overextends, can I steal it and be on the move? So that's why I did that, because I'm not going to be able to hear it from here. So now I take position where it's really difficult for him to push. And I have all of this at my back now. I know that most he's like probably 100-100 due to all the damage I dealt at rail. So this is a decent fight for me to try to take and then judge how it's going. I catch him with a lot of LG there. I look to finish the kill because I know the timing on the Mega from the previous engagement on it, and I know that I can maybe secure the frag. He can't LG me enough in time and switch to rail to kill me with the stack that I have, and I have this 25 and the armor behind me. So this is a good opportunity to close the game out.
So smart from Rapha, just playing nice and patient around the banana area, a common area for Anakin to use the air control and just use the audio cues, trapped him by the rail to pinpoint.
And so that's that. Winning that fight at the banana like that is what won the game ultimately. And then just catching him with all that free damage there as he was going towards the Mega window just allowed me to get the game securing frag so that there's absolutely no way that he can come back. And, you know, if it was a huge risk, I wouldn't have done it. But, you know, the percentages, like for small little fights in a row, started to be in my favor, especially with how much damage I dealt at the railgun with the rockets to rail combo. Yeah, it was worth going for there, especially since I had 75 total health and armor to fight alongside with as he was, you know, traversing through dangerous position to go to Mega. Now, if he would have went through the lower part, it probably would have been a safer route. But yeah, he was just trying to also like catch me. So, and he just chose the wrong path. And that happens sometimes. You know, we're really forced to make tough choices when we're coming back, and you're not always going to make the right one. So let's go to the next game. Okay, so in this matchup, you're not going to use charge too much unless you catch the ranger misusing the orb and you know that it's on cooldown. You're not going to use it for damage. Charge is going to be for safely moving in and trying to collect the heavy with the speed and like crossing the gap or like charging your way up through shotgun to mega or through the portal and to the left to mega and stuff like that. That's how you need to use, skill bearer's charge in this matchup, because either one of two things: Ranger is going to RJ above you for almost no penalty, depending on when you make the charge, or he's just going to orb past you. He's like going to deal damage, orb to a good position, and then keep fighting. So you're not using it to deal damage because he'll almost dodge it all the time. You want to do it so that he's taken bad position if you collect the heavy. So that's what you want to look out for. And then from him, like I said, you want to save it to dodge the charge typically, or if you're really getting a good grasp on the game like he ends up getting, then you can use it to try to get kills. But for the most part, it's used as an escape and repositioning tool.
Guys, this is the second
So I have to start here.
Rapha
I hear that he goes through the portal, so they know, okay, he's not risking it. I can't go for shotgun, so let me just work my way back. Collect rockets. And now that I heard the jump pad, it's safe to go to rail, so I'm trying to work my way into the weaponry. This is all about just trying to find position and contest the first heavy and mega.
And again, just keeping that height, just making sure that it can contest both these items.
So I'm using the movement to try to be unpredictable and to search for him.
First, he's looking to go for that over Av3k.
He makes a really nice RJ here, and he's trying to collect it and come to high ground, and he's giving himself the option to use the orb. And I just missed such an easy fucking shot. And he didn't even have to use the orb to get up there. He RJ'd perfectly. So now it makes me have to panic to charge to go get the mega. So the situation isn't completely dead yet, but missing that rail is huge.
I've been going super aggressive, realizing the weapon choice from Rapha.
So I don't collect the armor because I know that I didn't deal any damage when he collected the heavy. He can't collect it yet. And me picking it up to get one armor isn't going to help myself. I might need to be able to leave it like during the fight. So I go through the portal. I start missing a shit ton of rockets. He hits a ton, and he gets a nice kill there. So that's like the worst thing that can happen for me there. I got pretty much no value out of the charge as far as like escaping. I wasn't able to like escape and reposition myself with the stack, and I aimed like shit. I should have chosen a different weapon as I went through. I should have had like shotgun or LG out instead of rockets, and so he whipped my ass in that fight. So now I have no charge. He has no orb, but he has all the guns.
Slight over-aggression from Rapha there this time, but he respawns with a big stack.
So that rail is huge because now instead of being, instantly being 100, 125, I'm not really too healthy enough to fight for the heavy. So I have to try to play for the mega, which I do. So I'm doing some nice damage here, but I don't know how the fuck he hit that rail. I don't. But that's a game changer right there. Him dealing that 90 damage instead of me being able to drop down and not take it. So he can try to follow up, which he does. And he's good at being tentative here because he knows I likely have charge since I was on the rail side of the map. So once I ran into the area, and as soon as he was going to throw the orb, I was like, I have to just charge because I can't take like burst damage and die. So I just do it, and I go past, and I try to get the armor and work my way back to the heavy, which I do. And I collect it, and I commit here to the fight, and I did not do a good job of like follow-up damage off the first rocket. I popped him up nicely and then missed. So that whiff has led to me dying again. Really nice job by him with the timing of the spam through the grate. And so now he's doing what he should do. He's playing on the weak side of the map, and he's trying to get his orb back so that even if I rush him down and kill him, that he'll have the orb advantage and potentially the stack advantage going into the next heavy. So he collects the light. I decide not to look for him. I'm deciding to try to just play for the heavy and then go for mega. And that's a mistake. Jesus. Okay, so but that ends up being a mistake because I don't have the charge to work my way in to secure the mega position this time. Whereas I should have been looking for him, try to make it 2-1, and then play for whichever item he's not playing for. But in doing so, I think I go for this, and I end up taking a shit ton of damage, and rightfully so. Nice rail. Because even though I deal the tri-bolt damage here, I'm not going to be able to deal enough damage before he gets the mega, so really terrible map awareness decision by me there as far as like trying to get to the mega. I did leave the heavy up because I knew that it might be a risk to go for the mega, so at least I'm doing okay in that regard. But I haven't traded enough damage to bully my way into the game yet.
Problem for the next rotation.
So he's doing what he should do, getting restacked, keeping his distance. He's trying to look for me going for LG because he doesn't think I have one. I hit a nice rail, so does he. And so here, I'm trying to charge in because typically what happens is if somebody stands on the mega, since I know the timing, even though our stacks are kind of even, I should be able to bounce him off the mega, but for some reason, he just doesn't move at all. So on my screen, when I fought there, before he orbed, I did hit him. I got the full impact of the damage. You can see that on his health. And it didn't move his model like almost at all on the screen. And so then he was able to orb me, and he got the mega health right when he needed to. Instead of me getting the mega and him like orbing, and maybe I would have been weak, but I would have got the kill, and then I would have been able to secure heavy after that. Yep, and so there he managed to knock me down before I could get the heavy, which is huge. It's like losing the third kill wasn't that big of a deal, but dying there and not getting the heavy was really, really detrimental.
Yeah, but Rapha's done his job through all of that. He's won himself position and stack advantage for the next round of items. So,
yep, so here I'm going to get mega. I'm going to move into heavy.
Lots of damage in the next 30 seconds.
And he's doing a good job giving up the items here. And this, I know, like, even though he has orb, he's going to be trapped, and I am so stacked. The odds of him hitting everything that he needs to are really low, and I need to take this fight to try to get back into the game. But he rails me. He hits a perfect orb. And then he hits a perfect 180 flick direct into rail combo. I would take that fight again and again because it's forcing him in a very intense situation to hit everything perfectly. He had to hit everything just like that to make it work out. If not, he's going to die, and then I have this armor to back up onto, and then I would have, I think I would still have charge. Let's see when I respawn. Yes, and then I would still have charge off of the frag to then get control back still. So that's a fight where the percentages for me are really good, and if the situation was there again, I would do it again. But he pulled off a miracle, and now he's up 5-0. So now it's up to me to just try to secure guns again, keep control, and he hits a perfect spray of nail to rail. It's just so sick. And so now I'm just scrounging, trying to survive. Collect the mega, I rush over to heavy because I have every right to. I know he doesn't have orb to fight. And I at least get a kill and work my way back in. So now I'm going to try to get my stack back up. I'm going to see if I can fight him over here at the rail. I still have charge. He orbs out. It's a really good move. And here I know that based off his move, I can't play for the mega now. I have to just give it up. When I moved into the rail area to fight him, I took the wrong path, the wrong pathing. Like, I have to choose whether he's going to go left or right. And if I choose the correct one, I deal a shit ton of damage even if he orbs away. But I chose the wrong one. And he was able to get out freely, secure himself the mega. And here I just used the charge to try to secure the heavy. It's not as clean as it should be. I was like a split second off, but it's still okay. I've kept him from being 175, 175.
61% rail for Av3k. Completely different from what we've seen in the previous two maps. Rapha just
Oh my goodness, that ESPN dealt so much. Most people won't hit like the first initial spray from Tribolt there, like
61% rail for Av3k. Completely different from what we've seen in the previous two maps.
right here is okay. And like you won't really take much damage after, but the fact that he like fans it correctly and he hits all directs, that almost never happens. Because with my stack, if I get through the portal, he can't really contest with the Mega and the light armor coming up.
Rapha just
But
waiting
him doing
patiently
that,
for the
I have to
ball
give up position now.
in the slightest.
So I give up position. I'm like, I can't let him get any more of a lead. I need to try to play a little slow for a bit.
He's ran that top Mega. And Rapha's just trying to recover and recuperate from that last fight.
So he does a good job here since he has Orb. He can be greedy and go take the armor. And then this, I missed the rail. So now this is really bad because I haven't even knocked off any of the overstack.
Yeah, and the tempo begins to settle down now, and this actually favors Av3k. He doesn't want it to be such a big fight. Big rockets from
Those
Rapha
rockets are
right
okay.
at the door.
But I misjudged the situation and was like trying to be too greedy working back in here because of the rockets that I dealt. But he's got shit to fall back on. And if I wanted to charge, I needed to charge in right away.
Is up though, and Rapha's not in a position instead. He's
But I
actually
tried to save it,
trying
and I
to
eat a
challenge
rocket to rail
Rapha
combo.
with everything so far. Rapha spawns over by the heavy. He's not up for a good 5 seconds. Av3k's got time to keep willing down this stack of the scale bearer. Yeah, he needs some weapons, but no, didn't.
Really nice job from him, doing the damage he should.
Rapha.
Now he's up 7-1. It's not impossible to come back from this, it's just really fucking difficult. Like, A, I haven't been hitting as hard as him. And B, he's been playing really, really well. And now playing at this kind of a gap against Ranger, it's going to be tough to come back. I do find a nice kill here. Like, I predict where he's going to go. I hit a good charge into an LG trap, and I managed to get a decently clean kill.
That earlier frag was so important, and the way he did it as well. Instead of switching weapons, knowing that the animation is going to take a couple of seconds.
So I know there's a big gap between Mega and Heavy. I'm going to try to get it.
But at least you can guarantee the frag rather than risking more damage taken.
I go for Railgun because I know I have time before the Heavy, and I need all the weaponry against him to come back. So I work my way through lower. He's trying to fight for this. And I should have just held position instead of charging after him. This was really good from him to try to like RJ boost to steal the Heavy. Good move from him. Bad choice to charge from me. Doesn't matter that I hit it. He's able to steal it. Now he has good position for the next Mega. It's going to be very difficult for me to make this work. And he should have died in 2 shotguns, but he doesn't. And he manages to get the kill because of that and gets the Mega. And me getting the return frag here doesn't really matter at this point. Him getting that kill pretty much shut down the game. Because I needed to get the frag and keep control rolling. And now, even though I get this frag back, I'm not really that healthy at all.
Which will prevent Rapha from being too aggressive off of the spawn.
Even though Rapha's getting these trades, Av3k is still...
But see now, I was too weak to contest for the next Heavy. So he's really healthy to fight for this. I'm kind of forced with time now to take this fight. And I just barely lose, which is... You know, it's understandable. It's Ranger's hitbox versus Skill Bearer's hitbox. Ranger's hitbox is pretty big for a medium, but it is just a bit smaller. So I'm down 5. I'm still going to keep trying my best, though, in this game, because, like, even though I'm likely going to lose, I want to build momentum for the next game. I want to, like, get back to feeling and hitting more. So I'm going to keep trying my best. And so here he fucks up an orb, and I'm like, oh, actually... this could be a way back into the game because I still have my charge, which could mean I get a free kill to follow up, and it could end up being 9-6. And he deals so much damage there. Like, that kill should have been so much cleaner. He just lit me up. And so instead of being like a total of almost like 200 to 250, I'm just going to be just below 200 here. And he got the spawn and he hit the rail. So like, even though he completely fucked up and the game could have turned around from that orb, he's turned it around from how hard he hit LG, and then he got the perfect spawn to deal damage. Just like a 50-50, I thought he would spawn at LG, not the rail, but he spawned on the rail somehow and was able to deal the damage. Because I didn't care if he spawned at LG because I have charge. So now I'm just charging to make sure that I get through without taking big rail damage because I need to secure a stack with what he's done. Now I hear him down here. I need to try to catch him out.
And that's been a big decider. Another one come through.
So I do some good damage. I need to fight for this shit. Okay, but I can't chase. I just have to try to catch him after I get the heavy here. Almost catch him with the prediction. Because I knew he was weak and he might go for the health. And he just gets away. I should have probably went for the rail, but I didn't because I thought I would be able to LG him in time, and if I would have been really pissed if I went for the rail and it didn't kill him, and I took a shit ton of damage, and I could have just killed him with LG. So that's why I did the weapon choice the way that I did it. So now I'm going to make sure that I collect the Mega, get stacked, and I have to try to find him. So here I'm down here. And I just fuck up a lot of shooting because it's like desperation movement in there, and that is not clean at all, and that pretty much ends the game. I had to get a clean kill there to then make my way over to heavy, and since I didn't, it's going to be almost impossible. I would have to go for like 4 for 4 with rails or whatever in the next fight. I have to try to go for this and hope that he just spams at the wrong time. He doesn't, and he secures the win. Good job from him.
Needs to try and clean him up if he can. No, he doesn't. He gets to trade. So I think you're right here, Dan. It could all be said and done with only a minute 10 left to go.
Yeah, as I said, that Rapha comes back in, trying to hit some rails. The bull rush comes out. Av3k just doesn't even get away from this one. Big damage coming out though, and every one of these frags Rapha gets hasn't.
Yeah, the few key points in the game where he won that pretty much impossible frag down by the rail armor, like the acid pit. So that's 1. 2. The one time I had control back and was potentially coming back, and I charged after him, and I shouldn't have. I should have just dropped and shot the whole time, or I should have just jumped onto the heavy and kept fighting, even if I take damage after getting it, because then I would kill him and be able to force the spawn so that I could get to Mega, and not doing so, allowing him to steal the heavy, really stopped my plans of being able to come back. I needed to get a good kill in that situation and keep the ball rolling in this matchup, and that failed it. And then as well, later when he messed up the orb, him being able to deal so much damage with that little health, and then getting the rail after the respawn, pretty much kind of sealed the deal. Because again, I would have been able to get the kind of stack that you need a scale bearer to, like, because in this matchup, if it's a messy game and you're the one that's getting the stack as scale, it's a fucking nightmare for Ranger. It really is. This can be a really, really bad matchup for Ranger, but he got the lead that he needed to get, and he was hitting amazing shots this game to pull this off. It was just excellent play by Av3k to shut down what I needed to do. Oh, and then the other one was here at rail when I tried to catch him in the area, and I chose the wrong side that he would go, and he orbed out perfectly and was able to get control back. It was a very key, pivotal moment in the game. So, that's over. We can move on over to Awoken. Excuse me. I'm gonna take a quick little break. I'm gonna get some more water. Take the dog outside, so I'll be back in like 5 minutes. So, I'll see you in a few, everybody. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the wait. I needed to so I turn the size of it on. It should be on. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I needed to find a hoodie to wear because it's like a really cold, damp day and it's getting colder in the house because it started raining again. That's why it took me a little longer. Okay, hold on. Display captures off. Let me get to this. Neck_9, thank you for the 3-month Prime Gaming resub. Entropy DDS, thank you for the 8-month Prime Gaming resub. Yep, no problem, man. Clone76, thanks for the year-long Prime Gaming resub. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bannable Offense, thank you for the Prime Gaming sub. Mephi, thank you for the Prime Gaming sub. I really appreciate it, everybody. Thank you so much. Okay, so then I already talked about kind of like the matchup and how it goes beforehand. So we'll just get straight into this. Sure you can see. Yes, we can. Okay.
You know, for Vale, it feels like, you know, it's definitely one of Rapha's weaker maps.
Let's make
Okay,
full
yeah,
screen.
sure, fair enough. Don't get me wrong, he's good on, you know, all the bloody maps, but, you know, there is some weaker ones to him, and, you know, we've seen that Vale hasn't really been one of his strongest points, shall we say, going into the finals. But moving on anyway, going on to the fourth map, which will be.
Here, the Ghost Walk's just come off.
Wow, that went so fast. I didn't think I went that far ahead.
Just
Come on. Come on.
Rapha first.
Come on.
for Rapha, but
Okay, there we go.
Av3k needs this now, and if he wants to try, you know, take us to map number 5, momentum's going to be so much in his favor.
Okay, so to be honest, I don't like this spawn, this Nyx. On Awoken and on Ruins, there are 2 spawns that I don't like for light champions, and it's the heavy side. Because since you don't start with any armor, picking up the heavy right away makes it so that you go to 100 armor and you're already decaying to 75. So you're not able to get to like a 150 armor stack and have it decay. So you get the least amount of value out of it. So typically it's better to spawn and get the mega, then get some lights because it takes longer for the 175 health to start decaying. The only positive is this means that I have Rail at the beginning and he doesn't. So I have to play accordingly. So I hear that he's picked it up. I was going to potentially go there anyway because sometimes with the spawn, okay, people will spawn at banana when I spawn at where I spawned, and they'll go to LG first, which allows you, if you spawn at rail, to go get mega, then rush to heavy and grab heavy. And since I have invis, I could have maybe grabbed mega, then grabbed heavy, and then, you know, looked for rail and invised away and gone to an important weapon that he's not at, and then start recouping my invis by getting the vials, since he's obviously not going to punch and try to catch me at that point. So right now, since I've heard him pick up the mega, I need to rush to lower here with the rail advantage. Okay, I hear that he's going towards the LG, so I just need to pick it up. So I know the timing, 3 and 9. So now I need to get this rocket, try to secure center map since I have rail. And right now, since I only have this much, I don't have like more armor to my name. I'm just like, you know what? Just screw it. Just go ahead and take the rail. I don't want to take potential damage at the choke, like, and take too much. Let's just get all the guns. We'll just have all the guns and we'll be equal right now. Let's just do that.
Maybe he just picked it because of the Ghost Walk, and he knows how aggressive Av3k wants to be, and he always wants that additional utility to get away.
So right now I'm taking center map position since I have all the weapons, and I'll get the first jump potentially on anything, and if something goes wrong, I'll just invis away.
Quite a while.
So I know mega comes up first at 3. I start clearing the area. Don't hit the rail, but it's not too big of a deal. So now I delay the mega because the armor is also still up here, and I'm looking for damage on the heavy.
In terms of the movement, there is always that.
And I hit 2 really nice rails here. So because I've left this up, this gives me the opportunity. I don't have to play like this right now, but I decided to. I figured he's going to work his way around Rocket, try to either go to the LG hallway, like through elbow, or he's going to try to work up to the center. And I think right now is the time, as I'm going to be 175, 75, to aggressively invis. And since he's taken the jump pad over here, I'm going to be out of the sound range, which he can hear the wisp of the invis. And I should arrive and totally surprise him. And that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to make a hard read on where he's going to be and show up at the right time and try to get the lead.
Perfect play. He does pick up the heavy as well, and they do trade items.
So I took the portal. He hears the portal, and now he's panicking. He doesn't know what to do because he doesn't know how much longer I have before I come out. He doesn't, so he's just going to try to find me and fight. I choose the correct spot right behind him, thankfully. He decided to look this way, and I get free LG to begin this fight. So I already get the jump on this fight, and I had hit the 2 rails before. So I need to try to follow this up. And I used LG because instead of rockets right away, because I figured as Doom, he's going to double jump in the fight, and he has rockets anyway, and that would make the fight difficult for me because he can double jump in the open, whereas I need the walls to do it. So I chose LG to see how the fight's going at the beginning and then chase down and pounce for the kill. So I hear this is as Tim would say, this is ambitious. So A, he thinks I'm weaker than I am. Okay, we're going to back up. So I take some damage. He dealt some damage, but he's not thinking that I'm going to collect the light armor and the health after. And so his thought process is on where he spawned is he's trying to catch me in this hallway. Because he knows I don't have invis. I ain't falling for that shit. I ain't just going to like walk my way in there when I know he has punch and he could potentially fuck me up. So I go get this. I hear the berserk. I'm like, is he really following me? Like, is he committing? He is. Boom. Free damage. That's huge. This shouldn't have happened at all. So now I've been given complete advantage over the entire map for some silly ass all-in that he's trying to do at Banana. So I'm trying to get over here, take all the armor from him, try to get my invis back. I notice that he's there, so I'm not going to go up the jump pad because he'll LG the shit out of me. I'm just going to try to do the same LG damage to him, and then if I need to, I'll switch to machine gun or rail. And I'm backing off to the health that's behind me because I know the timing of the mega. See, what happened is, remember beforehand, I had railed him twice, but he thought, in his mind, he thought that I had picked up the mega and then went to rail him twice. But I didn't. I railed him twice, then fell back to the mega. So if I had picked up the mega and then engaged on him before, he was actually correct, and he would have been there and stolen the mega from me if I decided to go for the armor first. But he was there because at the wrong time because I had delayed it, and it ends up leading to this kill. And right now, I just kind of feel like mega is really important, and I need to secure that. So I just force him to spawn elsewhere. I want to collect mega. I'm going to go for this health. And this is a big risk from him, but it ends up paying off hugely. He's trying to deny this armor, and he ends up getting me before I could get the mega, because I wanted to just get the health and like maximize and be like, what would it be? 156 and 5, or potentially get the armor. But he gets the spawn, he rushes there immediately. So now I'm like, shit, I actually have to back up now. And then there, I don't know how the rocket killed me, but it killed me. So I'm dead now, and I've given up full control. Where in hindsight, because it's Doom and not some other champion, I should have just taken the mega and just called it a day. Taken the mega, moved above rail or some shit. Like, and here it's not the worst because where he killed me, I'm going to spawn by heavy. So right now I'm like, okay, I'm either going to win and be 3-1 and very weak, but I'll have invis, or I'm going to die and he'll be weak and it'll be a good trade. So I just fight this out. He deals a lot of good damage with rockets, but I light him up with machine gun. So I collect the armor, get the LG, and I figure that he's going to be going for rail, so I move in silently with the invis. I'm making another aggressive play because I know that he's really weak off of the last heavy engagement. I'm coming in here, catch him perfectly, get a free kill. And then this is so fucking crazy. Look at this. I'm 110. So once I get there, I'll be like 105. 105, 75. I'm 180 total health. So I have 5 more health than he does. And he's going to be moving. I know what he might do. He might come from LG and attack me from Banana for the Mega because he knows the Mega time. But he's going to be moving predictably and in the choke. So I should, with my smaller hitbox, me being there first, I should win the fight. Now watch what fucking happens. I don't mess and I still lose. I still lose. And he's got 8 health. What kind of aim is that? That is just, he's a madman. That's twice in this series he has just completely turned a fight around because he's hit 100% LG.
That's why he's going aggressive. Great tracking from Av3k.
And he lived with 8 health, gets the Mega, gets this. So now I have to play for heavy and trade again. Him living with 1 health is okay. It's not the biggest deal in the world. Now he'll get the light, and he should be looking to either get rockets or whatever. He hears me down below, and he knows this light is coming up. So right now what he's trying to do is pressure out the invis, which that's okay. Like, he could do either one. If he takes a bad rail, he might be able to double jump to mid. It's a risk because I might be able to rail him in time, but I understand why he's going for this. So I missed the rail because what I was trying to do is rail him because I knew he would be weak and then use the invis after, and I did jack shit. So now he's moved to the center of the map to try to figure out where I am. He's doing a good job. I miss again, so I've done nothing. I know I can't go for that, so I baited out. And now I'm just trying to do as much damage as I can at this heavy. And then, try to do damage, back off to LG is likely the scenario I'm trying to do. See, I know that I can't commit, so I'm just looking for free shots, and now I'm looking to escape. I get a free rail, so at least I've done some damage finally, and I've traded back. So now I know, okay, now he has rail for sure. I get the light, trying to get the vials. Now I'm moving into the Mega. And using rockets isn't necessarily a mistake, but I misjudged the second one, like where he would double jump, because I could have pinned him there. And the reason I had LG, I didn't want to all in LG because I didn't have invis again. So I can't guarantee that I'm going to get the Mega and then be able to invis. And I had just lost an impossible fight just beforehand with LG. So I was trying to close the choke down with rockets and then potentially use double jumping myself. So I don't use the invis there, I save it. I just accept death. Because I don't want him getting a free kill. So he gets this. He's trying to cut me off. He's doing exactly what he should be doing, applying pressure.
And Ravek's taken the whole map away from Rapha, who's got no armor to work with. He's just going to have to run. The Ghost Walk's going to be popped here.
And I fail to hit another rail. He does a good job. Yep, doing a really good job taking all the armor. And he just catches me at the right time to where I can't really escape. And then this could have turned around badly for him, but I missed this rail, which that's acceptable. Like, he could double jump into the room kind of awkwardly. But I barely missed that one. This one, however, I remember like shooting right on his fucking chest. But in the spectator point of view, it's like way above his head. And so on my screen, I have a pass-through rail. I should have dealt damage before I died, which can affect control. Instead, he gets a free kill. He's going to get like... He should get more rail after he picks this up. I think he should have went for this. Like, in all honesty, this works out. But I think he had every right to go for this armor, then take the heavy, so there's nothing. Like, there's not even a chance that I collect this and get out. He manages to catch me at the perfect time and get a kill, but I think he could have optimally taken everything first and put me in an even deeper hole. Because then he wouldn't have had to trade any damage here whatsoever. So now, I'm here at the wrong time, like trying to just go through the map and figure out whether I can get rail or LG at the moment. And so now I just have to scramble to survive. I have to try to make myself really hard to hit. I have to try to judge what angles he'll take with LG against me. I'm trying to literally think from his point of view in my mind during this fight. What he's going to do and try to like cover myself and just work my way out. I'm not trying to win the Mega. Like, I'm just trying to survive. The LG, trying to get position for the next heavy, and I thought that he would be a little late. And so I'm trying to like fire at the shotgun entrance, but he's there early. Does a lot of really good damage. And here, he just should have... This is just like primetime weapon selection. When it's in the heat of the moment, you're in control and you need to keep it going in this matchup specifically as Doom. Dude, rockets are not the play here. He needed to keep LG out, especially after the damage that he dealt. Just secure the heavy or have shotgun out. Either one would have been totally acceptable. He only has one rocket, so even if he fires it, he's hoping that the one does the job. And so right here, the only opportunity for me to come back is given to me. I was just looking to maybe find him double jumping and doing exactly what he's doing and deal some free damage. I deal a shit ton, and so now it's tentative. I have Invis. I know he's going to be playing it differently now. And so I go for an all-in here. I go for an unexpected wall jump, predicting that he will move closer to try to deny angles, and I actually work my way above and around him. I guess the rocket, what happened is, if we look at it closely, this is just really unfortunate from him. So, like I said, he fucks up here, and then this rocket, right there, the splash covers up the jump sound. So he doesn't hear me jump, and by the time that I do, and he's like arced around, it's too late. Just the bounce fucks up his aim, and he's stuck against the wall. And I managed to go 2 for 2 with those rockets and get the heavy. And I've kept my invis.
But Av3k lost that fight. Unbelievable. Now he's trying to keep Av3k at bay.
So, like I said, weapon selection is super important. He could have potentially ran away with this game if he just kept out LG or shotgun in that situation and moved aggressively to the heavy. But thankfully, like the miracle fights that he was pulling off in Vale a couple times, that is one where I got really lucky. I should not have won it. I made the best of a terrible situation, and I had to have a lot of things go my way there. There are a few things that led up to that moment that I should not have done, type deal. And like I said, I shouldn't have won that situation. But since I have, and I am where I am, now is the time to really focus on coming back, to be aggressive here, get full control, and be a living nightmare for Doom. For him to always be paranoid about where I am, to use Invis aggressively, and to start just dominating.
On the LG spawn.
Okay, so I can move aggressively here to try to get past the Tribolt, because if I do, I can maybe get another kill. If I don't, I have the armor back here to back up onto, and Mega's coming up. So I just secure that entrance with rockets, then move into position. And I'm like, okay, I wasn't able to catch him out, but it's fine. Let me just get full control. Let me get all the guns. I cut this shit off. I hear him down here, and he just... I don't know if he didn't hear me like jump and drop, and he thinks it's like okay to go, or he thought I was going to go through the portal at the time, so it would maybe like give him time to go to the armor, but I chose to cut off at the correct spot. And so now I'm trying to cut off his access to the armor. I know it's coming up. And this is perfect now, because I collect the armor, and hopefully I should collect the heavy, so I should get to 150, and I know where he's going to spawn. He's going to spawn over at elbow. So he's going to do one of two things. He's going to get LG and then try to go through the portal, which if he does that, he will be too late to get me at heavy, which is totally fine. Regardless, I'll allow it. Or he's going to try to move to rockets aggressively and push towards the heavy. But I have Invis, so even though that attempt, if I didn't have Invis, would be okay from him, I could secure the item quite easily. So right now, I need to focus on dealing some entry damage as he goes to get rockets. Thankfully, I have Tribal. I picked the spot pretty well. And there, I'm going to invis. If I miss, I'm invising. If I hit, I'm invising. So there, it's animation canceling. As soon as I press fire, I'm hitting invis. Because I don't want to take any more damage regardless of what happens. I managed to hit the rail, so it's like, yes, this is best case scenario. So now I go up the pad.
The ghost walks up and here it comes out. He's going to shake Abek down.
It's okay. He gets away. I've got control. I hear him punch. He's like using punch to try to quickly collect health, but that gives away his position. And so now I know that he's going to come back for this and I can look for him. Deals good damage, but it's okay. Me doing the wall jump the way that I did is very important here. If I get this kill, okay. If I get this kill and I go up the stairs to Mega, he would have spawned at Cubby by rail because I would have been on the other side of the map, the other half of the map. And so that would have allowed him to get it because I knew Mega's coming up. I left the Mega up based off of the sound cues to go for this kill to try to bring the scoreline back and then keep control rolling. Getting the kill here and then making this jump forces him to spawn at either LG or Banana, which gives me a good chance to cut him off and get it myself, or he just won't even go there in general. So I'm rushing towards it, I get it, so I know, okay, he spawned at LG. So he's got LG, I've got full control still. I need to just continue to apply pressure, maybe collect a couple vials, and just keep doing what I've been doing. Okay, I know I need to not do an all-in engagement because the best weapon against Doom right now, LG and Rail, I have like almost no LG. So I need to look for cutting him off, just doing little micro fights here or there, and just obtain good positioning for the next heavy. So I see him here, I'm just trying to stall him. I just do this to scare him and make him use more LG. I use the rest that I can, and I'm already thinking in my mind, if I don't get the kill, it's fine, but I'm gonna optimize my fighting here and LG and switch to rail, because he might be weak enough that I can kill him. And I managed to hit the drive-by rail. So then I go collect heavy. I'm like, I don't need to gamble for this. I just need to, I've tied the game. Let me get to 100-100. I know the timing on Mega. Let me get this shit. Secure LG. Start working my way in. See if he's like at Cubby. He's not. So I get a free Mega. So now I'm gonna try to take center position again. Control that and just try to get some entry damage and then follow up. And this works out to perfection here. He shows up and I just hit the perfect rocket, and here double jumping off the wall makes me tough to hit. And unfortunately as Doom, this is a double-edged sword of an area. You either win games in this area because you're double jump, or you lose because there's like if you get stuck right here, there's a ceiling above you. And so people can look up and deal really good splash damage with rockets, which is exactly what happened. He got launched up to the ceiling, hit another good one. I'm looking for the spawn here. He picked the perfect time to back up. It's good from him. So I know the timing on heavy. I try to hit the rail. I know that he might have punch, and that's the way that I could die, but I have invis. And so if he's punching, then he can't deny me with shooting on the way to heavy. So I'm going to try to deal damage and then invis. I do. I hit the rail, I invis, and now since he's gone this way, I know he doesn't have guns, and by the time he picks up LG, I'm going to be out of invis and he'll still be punching, because the punching lasts for what? It's like 4.5 to 5 seconds, but invis lasts for only 3 seconds. So I'll be able to come out and keep damaging him before he can even shoot me back, and I'll make sure that when I come out of invis, I'm at a distance where he can't lunge punch me. So I'm going to get the kill, and then I'll go back and collect the heavy. Yep. He deals like practically nothing. Almost hit the prediction midair. So now I'm just like, after I took that rail, I'm like, okay, I have to concede the Mega, but I just need to take center position and try to deal damage. And so I'm not re-peeking here. In my mind, I'm like, okay, I don't need to take a 50-50 rail battle when the Mega's up. It'll likely benefit him. I just need to get out. And he hits a crazy pixel rail here. It was a really nice shot that could potentially turn the game back for him. So I escape, trying to cover myself here, get some more ammo, collect some health. I know that he can't really push me because he only has rail and whatever starting weapon he has. That's it. And he has no punch. He can't fight me up close range. So I'm trying to get to a position where I can defend up close range, make it really risky to rail me.
Rapha isn't railable, but Rapha can definitely push this.
And so here I'm going to try. I'm like, he doesn't have LG. If I catch him at the right time, I might even be able to kill him. But I need to deal max damage right now. Because if I don't, then he's going to get absolute full control and I'll have nothing for so long. So I'm going to go for it here. He kills me with shotgun, but thankfully I did a lot of damage. That was good weapon selection from him. Really good. So here, I'm about to have Invis back, which is why I'm doing this. I'm rushing, even though he's Doom, I'm rushing to the portal because he's likely going to collect the armor, collect LG, go through the portal to get ready for heavy. I'm going to go cut him off at the portal exit, and I'm going to catch him. Predict perfectly the spot that he'll come through and the time, and I managed to follow up with good rockets after and use the pillar to minimize damage. Little unlucky from him, but it was a really predictable route that he's going to take. And if one thing went bad there, I had Invis, and I could either A, go get heavy if he goes to T to take the armor, or if he goes to heavy, I'll take the T armor and then work my way to rail.
It's too little too late. Rapha is still weak.
So I went to T to get the armor instead of heavy because I didn't want to, since I was able to get the kill, I didn't want to have to burn my Invis unnecessarily. I wanted it to give me options, especially since even though the heavy is up, the mega was coming up shortly thereafter. I want him to pick one of the items and I'll go for the other. And I can save my ability. I don't want to get rushed by his LG off spawn, especially since I don't have any. I don't have one yet. I just have machine gun and rockets and have to burn Invis. So this allows me to listen to where he's going and keep my ability, which will keep the pressure on him because he knows that as time's ticking down and he's down 2 and he has to make that, he has to burn through Invis to get me. He can't just kill me, most likely. He has to get through me twice.
Recuperates just a little bit here.
So I hear him travel underneath me. I give that shit up. And here I'm like, I'm going to defend this mega. Like, I'm not going to give you both. I know what time it comes up, and I'm going to try to deal damage and then Invis away, and I'll go the opposite way. And instead of using shotgun, which is what he should have done, he had super shotgun. He should have just been up there trying to fight with guns right away, and then he could animation cancel into the punch. He started to punch right away. So I hit a good rocket, I take no damage, and get a free mega. And I'm like, okay, where are you going? Okay, you're going to T, I'm going to go to get LG. Get LG, already start making my way back to getting Invis. It's a really nice tri-bolt from him. But I'm like, okay, I got time to go back and get this before the next heavy. I know he doesn't really have very many guns, and it's kind of easy for the most part. You have to have perfect prediction here to get really good tri-bolt when you don't know where they're at in this area. So it's really easy for me to move past the tri-bolt range into medium range, which is good for LG. So I do. Make sure I get rockets for this fight. I start denying the angle because I know this light armor comes up before heavy, like last time, because I took it. I'm just trying to deal damage and keep him away, and then whatever happens, I'll take whatever I can after. I hit a crazy rocket, and now I'm like, okay, the only way that I'm going to die here is if I just stupidly jump into tri-bolt spam at the wrong range. So I'm slowly working my way past the range. So I waited till after the first shot to go back instead of running immediately, because if I ran immediately, his first tri-bolt spam would have fucked me up, and he might have been able to turn it around. I just played it patient. I'm like, if he gets Mega, it's okay. He's not going to have much health. He decides to go for this armor instead of going over to LG. And him committing all the way to the armor is really bad here because I have Lightning Gun. And when she should have known that because I was fighting him before. And now I could just roast him. He's not going to be able to deal enough shotgun damage from that range. He just doesn't have the weaponry to fight there, and so he gets completely caught out. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to secure this kill. I just need to do it slowly but surely. And this should be the lead I can protect for the rest of the game, especially since I haven't had to burn Invis. So I get the railgun. I go back to take center position. I know he's going to spawn at LG, so I'm right now I'm trying to deny him access to rocket. If he wants to take over position from T, I will give it up. I'll like spam rockets, back off. If things look bad, I will use Invis, and I'll reposition myself somewhere else. It's some decent damage. I Invis out. I collect this. I don't dive right away because if he decides to rush to heavy, I will give that shit up and let him have it, and I'll work my way over to Mega. But based off of sound cues or lack thereof, I know, okay, he's not coming for it. I could take this. He decided to play for Mega and likely Railgun. So I'm able to collect this. I know when this is, so I'm like, okay, let me try to take a shot. I miss it, no big deal. Let me just back off. Just figure out where he is. No need to look for unnecessary damage right now. It's just all about protecting the lead. In this fight, I could keep taking because if I get railed, it's okay. This armor is coming up. So it'll be like the rail almost never happened. It's really important for me to try to deny him getting rocket launcher for free right here. So he misses one, I miss one. I do a little bit of extra damage. The LG probably made it difficult for him to hit, and that's why he missed that one. He misses another one, so he's 0 for 3. He's over, what, 6 now? So I don't even need the armor still. I'm just like, okay, well, that worked out even better for me. He somehow didn't hit me. And I just need to keep maintaining position for the items. Get the Mega. Like I can at least go down here to contest. If he hits damage, I'll just back off. And I'm like, okay, he's just keeping rail out. So I'm just going to fucking go for this. I have Invis. If I get this heavy, I can get the Invis and get out. So I do. And then I haven't Invised because he had weird weapon selection again. He might have, I don't know, he shouldn't have ran out of rail, but he might have. And I know that as Doom, he's likely going to go for the middle armor here. He's going to try to double jump and go take it because it's up and he needs to come back. The pressure is on. So this is a really predictable rail to try to hit as you move through. I do, and it perfectly floats him. That's the problem with Doom sometimes. You get caught in the air, you float so much more than other players. So as good as the double jump can be, sometimes it's also your worst enemy. And so I'm like, well, time to follow up. Easy shot. So easy, able to just stand still and shoot it. And that should be that. Did the damage, move in. Not looking to be overzealous because I don't want him to berserk and shit goes wrong and I don't hit him. So I'm just like, I'll just look for a free rail, and if it doesn't work, I'll back up. But I've dealt the damage. He has nothing to back off on. He's there, so I'm like, I can just run underneath, look to rail him, try to make myself difficult to hit with rails at the end. Like there's certain jumps that you can do, which make you tough to hit if they're up there. That's a nice shot right there. But he's still so weak. I hit one shot and he's kind of crippled.
60 seconds left remaining.
He hits another nice shot. So now that he's done all this damage, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to retreat and give up space now. I look for him crossing over to Mega. I hit a free shot and just putting myself in difficult to find situations. And so right here, I'm just going to listen for him and try to keep going the opposite direction.
But you have to credit Av3k for the comeback. Map 1 did not go to plan, and not even sure really what the strategy was, but there was a tipping point, and he pushed past it, and there was.
So you're going above. He actually turns around and even though I can't see him, he sees like my hip or my foot as I'm leaving, and so he starts to try to push.
Map 2 was good, but again, Rapha just had the.
Hit the rail. I luckily choose the right path to get away. He didn't expect me to go up the pad, and so he wasn't ready for it. If he positioned like out here, he might have caught me and killed me. I don't think he would have came back and won the game with 20 seconds left, but you know, yeah. So I go get the health. Can't rail me and kill me again. I listen, I go the opposite direction. I hear him. I'm not sure whether it's above or below because sound in Quake Champions you just hear horizontally, so you have to take context clues as to where they are. So I looked above at first. He had decided he came through lower, and now I'm just holding position. And as soon as he RJ'd from lower, I'm like, okay, well I could just fight this. It's the end of the game. I could just roast him here with LG. And that's that. He was just forced his hand into a bad situation to try to get me.
GG's all.
But that's like the way that the end of the game went right there, and the reason why I like you're saying, like you're watching, like even though I went over this, that is the kind of pressure that can be on the Doom the entire time. If you're as Nyx and you're making the right decisions, where you're constantly dealing damage and you just always get away. You're constantly just getting away and you never take too much damage. And then he has nothing to fall back on. And you keep putting him on the side of the map that has nothing. It's so hard to play against because as Doom, you're forced to hit perfectly. You have to be hitting, like, he had to hit the way that he hit LG this game to even have a chance. You have to be hitting rails to have a chance. Like, you need to be railing as good as her or better. And that's really hard to do against Nyx. And so like that type of pressure that's put on near the last like 3-4 minutes of that game, that's the type of pressure you feel as playing Doom when you're down by 1, maybe even 2 frags like earlier on in the game. It's really tough to play against if the person playing Nyx is playing to perfection. It's really hard. But I hit really hard this game. I did. But the big point to take back from this is even though I made mistakes early on and he got control, Av3k was in position to run away with the game. He was in the right area. He had every right to be there, but he made a couple wrong moves, which exposed him to extra damage that he didn't need to take, and he just needed to keep LG out or shotgun and just move into the area. Just take space, keep going, keep bullying. But he decided to switch to rockets, which didn't have much ammo, and then he switched to rail. And then he switched to LG when it was too late. And I managed to have like a lucky, very lucky situation happen for me, and it completely turned the game around. But it didn't have to be that way. That's why, even though you have the best position possible, if you have the wrong weapon out at the wrong time, it makes that position fucking useless. You have to optimize your position with the proper weapons at the time. So I was very fortunate to walk away with this one and be able to come back the way that I did, but managed to do it.
All round, as you can see there, Rapha does take the series 3-1. It was, you know, at one stage we did assume that there's a possibility that could.
Because Av3k was hitting really hard in that set. It's not like he was playing bad. I think the first map, his strategy needed to be a bit different. But overall, the rest of the games, he was playing very, very well. And even in that game, he was playing well. That was just such a big moment and a big flub in the game that he made. And at the time, it's just like, oh, I died. But the penalty of dying there and everything that snowballed from it is just so huge. So huge.
Go to map number 5.
But yeah.
Av3k was.
All right. I'll talk with you guys for a few minutes. I'll answer some questions. But yeah, I'm gonna stop there. I will either do more analysis later tonight Test, hello. How long have I been muted? How long did I fuck up? Okay, good. Phew. I was like, man, did I just do the whole last map muted? I would have felt so fucking horrible. Alright. I think I did it by habit when I turned off the display capture. Man. Let's see. But yeah, I was trying to say, somebody asked if I'm okay, and I said, yeah, I'm okay. I'm just really hungry, and I need to call my grandparents back to check in on them. So I just want to relax for a bit type deal. Tronic GG. G. Rapha, what's your take on round-based versus time-based duel? I think time-based overall is better. I think how it forces you to respond and to react under intense pressure for 10 minutes and gain control back is there's nothing like it. Time limit duel is really good, and I think with where the champion balance in the game is, the rules that we've tested and set in place in the Quake Pro League, literally right now the game has been at a good balance for a while, but right now it is at its the only thing I could see being improved a little bit is maybe we're going to have to test some things with the tanks. But every champion, I think every single champion was played this weekend. And I think multiple times. The only one that might not have been is Slash because she's right now she's either a ban or people just don't play her because of the way the map pool is at the moment. But yeah, like it's crazy to see how balanced the game is around 16 different champions and the maps that they are and the fact that they're that good. Whereas in round duel, that shit ain't happening. You'd maybe see like 5 to 8 champions out of 16 being played all the time. That would be it. Because you're able to play them every single map and a lot of people would just pick the safest picks, etc. But the way that the format is and time limit duel allows it to be, it really makes you like have to round out your game, and it shows a lot of skill, a lot more skill. Like you have to be good at so many other different facets of the game. But I will say that from, let's say, a casual playing perspective, let's say like playing ranked, I actually enjoyed playing round duel and ranked more than I do time limit. And from a streaming perspective, it's actually easier to play round duel and then between the rounds explain to you guys like a key moment that went wrong or things like that than it is in time limit duel. Like some days, like I'm alert enough, I'm awake enough, I'm not super hungry, I'm focused, and I can play and I can talk the whole time. Then there are other times where it just takes so much mental fortitude and energy to keep going 100% the entire time with no breaks that I just have to focus on the game, and I can't really talk to you guys about what's going on. And then I have to like barely tell you a snippet of it afterwards because you're not reviewing the game. So yeah. What would have been a better pick on Vale in this kind of game? I think the pick was fine. I just fucked up really badly in the beginning, and he was hitting everything. So that combined made it just such a tough game for me. Like I said, this whole tournament, Vale is it's one of my best maps, but in this tournament, I just had an off tournament on it. Every single time that I played, the first 3 to 5 minutes, it felt really difficult to hit the shots that are easy to hit. And so I would lose out on good situations and wouldn't be able to punish as much, and I got punished more. And then I'm playing from not just down by like 1 or 2 frags, but because of certain failures, I'm down by like 4+, which is pretty tough on that map to come back with. You need to try your best to keep it close the entire time. So yeah, it's not like it's something where I'm like, man, I don't want to pick Vale anymore. No, I'll be picking Vale as long as it's in the map pool for the next stage. Like, you're doing the same shit. Sync, what are you saying there you go for? Oh, for the mic. Okay, I get you. I understand the context now. You don't need to explain. Do I still have display? Okay, just turn that shit off then. Who would I say is number 2 right now? Well, I know that he lost, but I would probably still say at the moment it's between Razy and Kilson, because I think you just have to look at it like Formula One. If you look at it over the long run and like collective placement within tournaments, I think you would have to look at Kilson and Razy. The amount of times that Razy has come so close to winning, and then how well he finishes in the weeklies for what's it called? For the 13 weeks. Like, he was the number 1 seed going into this as well. He just had an off tournament, just like Kilson did. I think Cypher has stepped his game up a lot. I think he's back into the contention for being consistent top 4, top 3 in Europe. He has the potential to do that. Wenger is also up there, but I would say number 2 is still between Razy and Kilson. Now, depending on the results of the stage 3 finals, we would see from that. But that's what I would say, because I'm looking at it not just as just the previous tournament we just played, but looking at it collectively as a whole over the last 1.5 to 2 years. Rapha, can we see one day a humiliation kill from you at a tournament roof? I only use Gauntlet if I think that it's like actually a smart play, which I have done before. I don't do it to like embarrass somebody or whatever. But there's been a game or two where I've had really clutch Gauntlet kills with Slash, because it actually is really smart at the time to slide in full speed because of like the respawn or whatever, and then go in with Gauntlet instead of trying to shoot with other guns. On Mario, Rapha, if you had to put a percentage of importance for skills that make you a good dueler, what would map knowledge's percentage be like? I mean, you have to fucking know the map. Like, that's so important. If I go and I play a map that I've never been on before against somebody that's played it, for 4 weeks ahead of me, I'm gonna have a rough time, because I don't know the ins and outs of the map yet. I don't know the spawns. I don't know necessarily the best way to play out of control. So yes, map knowledge is always going to be up there. Like, it's really, really important. But then that's the thing. Once you get to that, that's like pretty much everybody at the top has the same map knowledge. So then it comes down to the different intricacies between you two about aiming with certain guns, weapon decision, overall movement, how good you are at timing, quick decision making, things like that, risk assessment, blah blah blah. Tetra Delta, just the short answer to the question, yes. Like, you feel that impending pressure when you really fucked up and you gave a free kill and they have full control and you're trying to defend it with nothing. Because then you have to make so many perfect reads in a row. Adiact. Rapha, I'm a new player. How does the spawning work in duel? So let's say you and I are in a duel and I kill you. You will spawn. What are the units now, Adam, if you're still here? Is it like 42? So at a minimum, you can respawn in 2 seconds. And you can delay it, potentially. Every now and then there is a bug, however, where it will force spawn you at 2 seconds. I don't know what causes it, but it will happen sometimes. But it's based off of the killer's current location. So that's why it's really important that when I frag you, I go to the right sector on the map to eliminate certain spawns, so that I know that it will allow me to secure more items, or I put you in a side of the map where I could potentially frag you pretty easily if you make the wrong decision. That's how it works. So whenever you're dying, you need to think about where your opponent is as you're going to respawn, and that will help you decide whether you need to be aggressive or defensive as soon as you spawn. That'll let you know, because the spawns are not completely random. They're like, you know, they're determined by position, and then they're slightly randomized. When is stage 3 going to start? Next weekend. We are off this weekend, but May is when it comes up. So what date is that? So thankfully, I get to watch Formula 1 again this Sunday. But May 8th is when we play again. Mini Cooler, a lot of what I do is instinct and subconscious. But I mean, so the main things I'm thinking of consistently within a moment are the item timings, my opponent's position, his options, getting a feel of what he's going to do, and reacting accordingly. Whether I can fight straight up, whether I have to bait certain situations. I'm just constantly calculating and doing things really quickly. A lot of it comes from experience, but I do think very fast while I'm playing. And it's all about thinking and reacting quickly to all those decisions. Dexidity, Rapha, not sure if you saw this question earlier, but how would you feel about making Anarchy's injection also increasing his overstack? I wouldn't like it. Anarchy is already a really good champ as it is, especially if the tanks get nerfed just a little bit. He will be very, very prominent in the meta. Because to be honest, let's say the previous stage, he was already good, but he was capped at 625 units per second. To be honest, 640 is the super sweet spot for him. It makes moving around with him feel so good. Just the way that you can judge turning corners and moving into rooms, 640 is like the speed that you want with Anarchy. And so the small little buff that he got with that base speed boost, because him and Sorlag got nerfed with rocket jump boosting, so now their speed decays over a certain amount, which I think is good. It's pretty dumb, or it was pretty dumb, them boosting around the map at like 900 plus units a second with air control. That shit was ridiculous. So I like the fact that they gave them a mini buff with the nerf. I think it was a very good decision, but giving him more overstack with the injection over time, I think would push him over the edge. I think he's in a really good spot right now, and he's good in a lot of matchups. He's just not good against Scalebearer right now. It's just not. Scalebearer, Keel, Sorlag, those are all tough cookies for him to crack, but against almost every light and medium champ, he's really good. Do I think Wenger would have done a better job in the grand finals? Well, if the game, I'll just say this, if the game against Cypher felt smoother for me than it did against Wenger. It's not as though that it felt very bad when I played Wenger or anything. Oh, it was very playable, but it felt super smooth, and I was playing so good. Like, I was hitting harder against Cypher than I was against Wenger, and I think that would have affected things as well. So, who knows? You know, that's just conjecture. For right now, I'm on the EC2A. I will try to get some different mice arranged, and I'll test them out. But as long as this one keeps working, and I don't find something that I need to switch to immediately, then I will keep at it. Mr. Nero 26, Rafa, would you ever consider being a coach after retirement, or once you're done, you're done? No, most likely what'll happen for me, because I want to stay within esports, is once I'm done, I will likely move into a analyst or commentator type job for some sort of game where I can apply my knowledge towards the skill set that it applies to, or yes, I would like to do some sort of coaching for a team. And I think what I would be good at is not necessarily being the head coach, but I would be good as an individual specialist coach where I can review the team as a whole. I can look for everybody's individual strengths and weaknesses and find ways to work on them with the players so that bringing up their individual skills, which will impact the team dynamic the most. I think that's what I would be really good at. Rafa, you mentioned that if you play too much, your wrists or shoulder start to hurt too much. Were you having this problem 10 years ago too? From the Hattie1234. It used to be a problem when I was younger. I did have some shoulder problems, but then I figured that out because of desk to chair ratio, because it was pushing my shoulder up too much with the position that I play in, and so it was pinching nerves. So that fixed that, and then for quite a long time, I could play a lot. It was just if I started working out or playing a bunch of basketball, which I used to do before my knees got fucked up. If I was playing a bit too much basketball and then playing a lot of games, then I would start to have wrist issues. But other than that, I was fine. But as I've gotten older, I just try to take care of myself. Stretches, massages, just the standard stuff you can look up, to prevent carpal tunnel, stuff like that. Rafa, what do you think Quake Champions needs more right now? Maps champions, what would you change from Sabfu? I don't know. Potentially another champion would be welcome. Where the champion balance is now is fantastic for duel. Maps are always welcome, whether it's for duel or not. I think people would love to play some new maps. So yeah, I think that would be good. Other than that, I wouldn't really change much at the moment. The only thing I would say is it would maybe be smart in the future to possibly because I know for Valentine's Day they didn't make certain weapons that were available for Valentine's Day the year before available. And I feel like not everybody's able to purchase certain things when it comes around. And I get there's like a certain mystique to making like in games now. You'd make like certain items or certain skins or whatever, like legacy. So they're only, but I don't know. I think they should like find a way to bring it back to the shop in certain times, while they're adding new content, because there'd be people that would buy them. Like, I know there were people that wanted to this time around and they couldn't because it's just not available. Oh, Delanu, that's a good question. Rafa, how much do you play around your opponent's mentality? Example, playing off them being tilted because of you doing something? Dude, if I get the sense that somebody's tilted, oh yes, I play into it. I try to tilt them even more. Or I start playing differently because I know they're going to be tilted, and I start making different decisions. It's all just about reading and reacting to them in the midst of the game and adapting. Hold on, I'm a little behind on chat, guys. I'm trying to catch up. Effie, Rafa, do you prefer 2-minute overtime or sudden death? I like sudden death. I just like that once the kill happens, it's over. And yes, I know like you have the crazy one of the, what a lot of people say is one of the best games of all time with the 2-minute overtime, but there's been plenty of very boring very bad, like overtime games that just keep going and they never end because, you know, the guy gets the frag, but then he's too weak, and then the guy refrags, and then you're both back to where you were again. And it's like, 2 more minutes. And it's like, ah, shit. Okay, well, this is still going. Where I look at it like from the American football perspective, once that shit's over, it's over. Just get it done. It's like you're already a bought time. Either you're lucky to be in overtime already, you know, because like the guy that was coming back wasn't able to finish it then, but he was able to secure it, you know, or you're in the state where like you're the guy that was coming back and you gave yourself the option to have the extra chance. At that point, just whoever scores next wins, and that's enough. More often than not, games will be decided within 10 minutes anyway. Schlock, I don't really watch endurance racing too much. I don't even really get to watch F1 as it is because I play on Sundays, and due to the time difference and whatever, I just don't really get to watch it. But I have next week off, and so I'm gonna get to watch the race at Portugal. So it's gonna be nice. I got to watch the Imola race. Really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, most of my time with F1 is just, you know, reading about what happened. I don't get to watch very often. Right now, I'm cheering for McLaren. I have the utmost respect for Lewis Hamilton and what he's done, and he is hands down the best. But I like the direction McLaren's going and that they're working their way back. And at this, it's just, you know, everybody wants to see who could be the next to surpass Hamilton. So that's why I'm rooting for them this season. Okay, wow, you guys are typing a lot. I'm still behind. I feel like I'm getting even more behind. Rafa, what do you think about the 8K mouse? I did try the Razer one before it came out, and I actually thought that it was pretty damn good. But the only problem is they only offer it in ambidextrous mice right now, and ambidextrous mice cause me wrist pain because my hand is so big, my pinky needs to have something to rest on, and if it doesn't, I'm like gripping the mouse. And so then it causes me bad wrist pain on the outside, and I can only play for like an hour. So unfortunately, even though the sensor and everything feels good, and the clicking and all that, I can't currently use it. I have to wait until a good ergonomic model comes out, and then I'll be able to try. Okay, I'm gonna have to skip a few questions here to try to catch up with stuff. But I want to see the golden frag option. No fucking thank you. More often than not, it creates super stale games. And it's like, you are. It's just so weird. I just don't like. It's just this ambiguous frag counter every game. You're not always like going to the same number. It doesn't reward the person. Like, it's just, I don't like it. The time limit is super simple to understand. It's super simple to follow. You're either leading at the end of the time limit or you're not. If you're tied, you go to overtime, sudden death, boom. That's it. But the fact that like games could be different lengths of time, you're in the lead, but you can't finish the fucking game because now the player that is behind, who should usually be forced to create the action, doesn't have to do anything. So they're just running and running and running and trying to survive until you get bored enough that you make a mistake because now you have to kill them. So it's just this really weird instance where it's like, oh, you have the lead. Well, now that's bad that you have the lead. It's, I don't like that creates that scenario at all. Blakota, I honestly don't know. I really wish there would be more younger players that came into the game. Because as much as I'm trying to continue my legacy for as long as I can, I would love to see more of the younger generation that we have now, like Wenger and Razy, since they're in their early 20s. You know, I'd love to see the next, because that's the thing when you gotta look at it this way. The old guard at one point was still playing was 04, CCM, Cooler, Fox, uh, even Zamus a little bit. But those were like your main old guard that were at the top that had chances to win tournaments. And Avek, Cypher, and myself were the new generation. We were the young guys on the block who were still in our teens, who were really hungry, and we wanted to make our mark in Quake. We had looked up to these guys for years. We wanted to have our opportunity to see if we could be better than them. And right now we have Razy and Wenger who are trying to do the same. But yeah, I'd like to see, I don't know, some way for Quake to be introduced more to the youth. And maybe it's just there might be people out there that would love to play this style game. They're just not exposed to it. They just don't know about it. Even though like they would love to get the feeling that you get from the fact that every single game is because of you. It's on your shoulders. It's not on other people's. And the feeling that you get from self-improvement in this game is second to none. There's no other game like it in that regard. But I don't have the answer for trying to fix that, unfortunately. Sergey, thank you for converting your sub. I appreciate it. You need in-game dab emotes, Roof. I mean, emotes or whatever, that would be kind of funny. That'd be fine. I mean, Quake 3 had them. I wouldn't mind it. Yeah, I know the screen's black. I'm just talking to you guys, and I'm ending the stream soon, and I'm going to host somebody else. So. Rapha, any advice on dealing with long-lasting lack of improvement? Spooky, are you talking about personally from yourself? I assume you are. So I'll ask this of you. Are you are you actively reflecting on your game? Are you watching the games that you play back? So are you recording yourself like via Twitch or just OBS or whatever, and then are you reviewing your games? If not, that's part of the reason that you're being hindered. It really helps to see that from the afterwards perspective. B, you need to be looking at yourself from you're your own coach. You need to be honest with yourself, even if it's brutally honest. If you're not and you're coddling your ego, that will prevent you from improving. It's not as though that you have to be mean to yourself. You just need to be honest. What else? If you're not setting little goals for yourself and actually working on them, and you're just hoping that things come along, serendipitously, that shit doesn't really happen like that. It's rarely ever going to happen like that. And at every point in everybody's like gaming career or whatever you're doing with whatever game that you love, you're going to hit walls at some point. You will hit a wall where you have plateaued in your skill and you're not getting better for a while. And part of it is there's just small little inconsistencies in your game that you haven't worked on. And once you do those small little changes, they snowball and make your overall game so much better. And it feels like you've made a vast improvement overnight once that like light switch turns on in your mind. And it just becomes natural for you to do. And you start doing it all the time. Then you notice an improvement. You're like, damn, now I'm beating these guys that I never beat before. Or you're like, I can, I've been stuck for a while, but like, man, now these games are super close and they weren't before. I'm actually doing this better and I can see the potential now. But yeah, it's just trying your best to be well-rounded. And then every now and then, Spooky, it is a bit of burnout. Even I try not to play too much so that I don't get burnt out. And sometimes stepping away from the game, it allows your subconscious to think about it when you're not doing it. And when you come back and play, things, once the game slows down again for you, things are better. You're thinking much clearer. That's awesome, Tetra Delta. All right. That's the last thing that I'll answer. I'm going to... Panda King. Okay, I'll answer. That will be the last one. I will answer this. Panda King R6. Rapha, as someone who works with a team every day in Rainbow Six Siege, I'd love to know how you improved your comms with the hang to a point of such low latency. Okay, well, I was already pretty decent at calming when we played team games in Quake, or like Quake Live, so CTF, TDM, and all that stuff. But it improved even more once we went to Overwatch. Overwatch, you have 6 people that you have to manage, so not just yourself, but 5 other teammates. So communicating in, small 1 to 2 syllable words as quickly as possible to get the most information out of it is super important. And having to do that for a year and a half just refined my communication even more. A lot of that is coming up as a team. You find once you have your base communication, then you find unique scenarios through scrims, through matches that, hey, this actually does come up, more often than we thought. And in this situation, we need a call out for this specific thing. We need to be able to react to it instantly. So then as a team, you come up with, another word or two for that specific situation. And it just keeps snowballing like that until people are better. The biggest thing is your players have to, and Tim's not the best at this either. He's gotten much better at it over the years. But out of the two of us, I definitely, and even when we played Sacrifice as 4, I definitely carried us as a team in terms of no matter if I'm fighting, I have to keep communicating if there's something worth communicating while you're fighting. There's so many times where that shit cannot wait until you're dead. It is very fucking selfish, just to put it bluntly. It is very selfish as a player for you to not communicate while fighting because you're focusing on trying to hit 5% more or that one extra bullet, where the information that you could have gave instead would have allowed your teammates to react and they make up for the lack of damage. Because of you communicating and you not being able to focus on, like in Quake, let's say maybe I missed out on 70 damage, but the fact that my teammates could react to the call fast enough, they dealt 120 damage. So in an overall net, it's a plus 50. So the fact that if you're playing and you're not communicating properly when you're fighting, it's literally the fucking sin of team games. And it's something that needs to be weeded out of the top professional teams in whatever esport there is. It is something that holds teams back from winning championships. It really is. So that's something that if you notice that as a problem, let's say like you said, you're coaching a team or whatever, or you work with them. If you notice that that's something that's really difficult for somebody right now, and that's a big problem, you have to work with them on that. They have to struggle through that and realize that in the long run, it's the right thing to do. And the more comfortable that they get with talking while fighting, if they need to, the better they're going to aim while doing it anyway. It's just a big struggle at the beginning because it's not a multitasking process that they're used to. It's something that it is. You're working out your mind, and you need to do it. So yeah. Okay, that's it. I have no more. I am going to relax now, eat some dinner. I will cast the Venger game either tonight or tomorrow. But I'm done for now. Thanks for tuning in. Glad I was also able to answer so many questions today. You guys had a lot of great questions. So yeah, and like I said at the end of the match interview, dude, pop into anybody's streams, man. Dude, when we got time, we're willing to talk. We're willing to talk and willing to help you guys. If we don't have time, we're just busy. It's not like we're trying to avoid like answering your questions and help you. You know, we're just trying our best to balance it. Like there'll definitely be times during the season where like due to my schedule, I literally only have time to just practice. That's it, and then the stream will be over. But then there'll be other times where I'll take a little extra, like today, and I'll try to talk with you. So it looks like Dramas. I hosted him yesterday, but he looks like he's playing again right now. So I'm gonna host Dramas. He's trying to queue for ranked. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Love you guys. Bye bye.